Let's settle down and have a conversation. Whatever you're thinking, I'll be sure to listen. I'm your man. You got what I need. Calling, I'll come running. I'll find what it is you seek. Don't worry, girl, don't worry about a thing. You can put your trust in me. Just say the word, what it is that got you bugging. I'll be there whenever you are stressing. And when I do get close to you, all of your friends ain't got no clue. I just can't wait to be with you, girl. I promise I'll make everything so easy. Girl, I'll be faithful. Promise not to hurt your heart. Swear I'm not able. Love you from the very start. My love's on the table. Take it how you want it, girl, yeah. Take it how you want it, girl. Girl, I'll be faithful. Promise not to hurt your heart. Swear I'm not able. Loved you from the very start. My love's on the table. Take it how you want it, girl, yeah. Take it how you want it, girl. Oh. Take it how you want it, want it. Take it how you want it, yeah. Take it how you want it, want it. Girl, I'm all yours. Do it how you wanna. Put you on my shoulders. I'll be your shoulder, the plan. Stay forever in my heart. Always by your side till death do us apart. Don't worry, girl, don't worry about a thing. You can put your trust in me. Just say the word, what it is that got you bugging. I'll be there whenever you are stressing. And when I do get close to you, all of your friends ain't got no clue. I just can't wait to be with you, girl. I promise I'll make everything so easy. Girl, I'll be faithful. Promise not to hurt your heart. Swear I'm not able. Loved you from the very start. My love's on the table. Take it how you want it, girl, yeah. Take it how you want it, girl. Girl, I'll be faithful. Promise not to hurt your heart. Swear I'm not able. Loved you from the very start. My love's on the table. Take it how you want it, girl, yeah. Take it how you want it, want it. Take it how you want it, girl. Take it how you want it, yeah. Take it how you want it, want it. Take it how you want it, yeah.
The Link, here on Breeze 93.9 FM.
Islas Marianas, ni tapotegi lenguaje y cultura dan loco y costumbreta. Fanogi, fan vanidoso, puritanota. Sagok bonito dan rico todo y historiota. Undan magogit, wagid zahita. Problemota Loman med gutaw-taw taninahit nuas manyanata Nihita konta ikantan sa moru Tatafan magufta lutafan gimin nadayan fan mamodo Nihita baila sa moru Tatafan magufta lutafan gimin nadayan fan mamodo Man makumpidat sui manggatong hugigiput sa moru Ekwat yu tungu hofan na okasyon wina tempo se luhut suligita lomu Jata fangonta, jata fan baila, ta fan bulotsu Migita konta, konta, konta ikan tan samoru Jata fan magufta, luta fan gimin na dayan fan mamodo Migita baila, 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 ibailan samoru Jata fan magufta, luta fan gimin na dayan fan mamodo Kita konta, konta, konta ikan tan samoru Jata fan magufta, luta fan gimin na dayan fan mamodo Kita baila, 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 ibailan samoru Jata fan magufta, luta fan gimin na dayan fan mamodo Jata fan magufta, luta fan gimin na dayan fan mamodo Jata fan magufta, luta fan gimin na dayan fan mamodo Jata fan magufta, luta fan gimin na dayan fan mamodo
Chris and Sabrina with The Link. Here on Breeze 93.9 FM.
Sometimes I lay under the moon and I thank God I'm breathing. Then I pray, don't take me soon, 'cause I am here for a reason. Sometimes in my tears I drown, but I never let it get me down. So when negativity surrounds, I know someday it'll all turn around, because all my life I've been waiting for, I've been praying for the people to say that we don't wanna fight no more. There'll be no more wars, and our children will play one day, one day, one day, one day, one day, one day. It's not about win or lose, 'cause we all lose when they feed on the souls of the innocent. Blood-drenched pavement, keep on moving though the waters stay raging. In this maze you can lose your way, your way. It might drive you crazy, but don't let it phase you, no way, no way. Sometimes in my tears I drown, but I never let it get me down. So when negativity surrounds, I know someday it'll all turn around, because all my life I've been waiting for, I've been praying for the people to say that we don't wanna fight no more. There'll be no more wars, and our children will play one day, one day, one day, one day, one day, one day. One day this all will change, treat people the same. Stop with the violence, down with the hate. One day we'll all be free and proud to be under the same sun, singing songs of freedom like whoa, 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 whoa. children will play one day, one day, one day, one day, one day, one day. All my life I've been waiting for, I've been praying for the people to say that we don't wanna fight no more. There'll be no more wars, and our children will play one day, one day, one day, one day, one day, one day.
Sinya uli di sombranza tanmak Etsu ita saluda antes de niga Radzau dan malak estrellas durante todo el memu a nogi distancia como kupu gipalu zaniman malak guafi con una sughiairi preba tu la noche nai banderata gaigi pues atan fanni bandera kau Esta pagua pumalapa Giluk tanu man libri Sentamiti man ko badi
see the ganja in the land. Big doctors get no medication. I said the good I give it to them, see passion. Make him get no meditation. I said the good I brew medication. Make singers get some inspiration. So the good I spread it to them, sick patients. Yeah, yes, I'm a ganja blunt time. I'm gonna be the ganja for my. He's gonna live from every day ganja. Babylon come and the light it up on fire, me chant. Yes, I'm a ganja blunt time. I'm gonna be the ganja for my. He's gonna live from every day ganja. Babylon come and the light it up on fire. I'll be say ganja, 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 ganja. I don't want to call it, they call it science familia. I don't want to call it, they call it marijuana. I don't want to call it, they call it the Hindi. Gotta beg on my bonnet in a chalice and matches of paper. Lord, this a me to make and jug, yeah. Whoa, yeah. Sign is kind of a choice. I never really, when I really want so nice lamp sponge. I don't wanna let you go with you on me, no, already. Oh no, this sign is kind of a choice. I never really, when I really want so nice lamp sponge. I don't wanna let you go with you on me, no, already. You say, spam, 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 spam. This is the reggae muffin from the ghetto you come. Anyway, me go, me say, me must leave Mr. Marijuana. When they smoke downside to where I run. Just see other day, me above all of me be one, me say. This is the reggae muffin from the ghetto you come. Anyway, me go, me say, me must leave Mr. Marijuana. When they smoke downside to where I run. Just see other day, me above all of me be one, me say. Spam, 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 a sexy bunkie, me bunkie, gonna make you say that you owe me, and it no matter what I wanna say, you wanna say, cause you know say that we feeling come one day, a sexy bunkie, me bunkie, gonna make you say that you owe me, and it no matter what I wanna say, you wanna say, cause you know say that we feeling come one day, yeah. Cause me see the gun, me want you every day. Yeah, yeah, me know see that you won't come away. God says your man a day, ma treat you like strange. Oh man, I know say that you should be with me, you know your man a pay. I'm a mama, son, man, never make you wild. Anytime you want me, take you shopping at the mall. On time to me give me cellular the car. That's a man, I can the man alongside I rise. A sexy bunkie, me bunkie, gonna be think say that you owe me, and it no matter what your man a say, your man a say, cause I know say now feeling come one day. A sexy bunkie, me bunkie, gonna be think say that you owe me, and it no matter what your man a say, your man a say, cause you know say now feeling come one day, yeah. Rastaman got them alongside the thank God high rise. Check it. I-94.
Yeah, man.
Babylon come to light it up on fire, my child. Yes, I'm a ganja blunt time. Come and be the ganja farmer. These are gonna be here for me with the ganja. Babylon come to light it up on fire, my child.
Super Typhoon Omicron. Good morning, Jason.
We really need to like predicate that. It's like, okay, for those of you who
We're not in a super typhoon.
yeah, for those of you who aren't in on the inside joke.
Yeah, it's not even an inside joke.
Remember before, if you even joked about like on
Yeah.
Guam, I mean, it was never public policy, but if you even insinuated about like
Yeah.
a super typhoon, it was almost as bad
Yeah.
as yelling fire in a movie.
Yeah. But
You could when we were kids, you couldn't even do that. They're like, dude, you do that, your parent,
yeah.
your Nino, or your grandparent is probably gonna take you like on the side, and you'll come back crying and limping a little bit.
Hey, good morning. It's Friday. It's actually the first Friday of 2022. Yep.
And what a way to start.
Yeah, so we got a big, huge, giant show for you guys this morning, of course. If you don't get the super typhoon thing, the governor, I think it was about a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks ago, had advised residents to prepare as if a super typhoon is coming. And she was referencing the impending arrival of the Omicron variant, which even now, after this crazy week of cases, is not officially confirmed yet, Jay, as all the samples they sent off to the CDC all came back positive for Delta.
10 out of 10 were Delta from December 6th through the 16th.
10 out of 10 Delta.
Yeah. Delta Force.
So
Now remember that was, of course, the 6th through the 16th. That's maybe a little bit before the real mad dash of holiday shopping. That's when people weren't hitting
there's
the
also a
supermarkets
big,
as much.
don't forget there's a big ship visit.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, the ship visit that's coming off of Thanksgiving. There's a whole bunch of things happening, and they said the lion's share of the just deluge of positive cases that we've been seeing, especially over the last 3 days in particular, are due to in their conclusion because of the Delta variant and because of social gatherings coming out the holidays.
And incoming travel, too, I think was what they had said. Right. Well, the incoming traveling thing, we control that. Well, we did at one time. And that's always going to be the question, guys. We're an island full of armchair COVID backers, but it's our right. We can question and criticize things. And I think that's the big question right now is, did we do enough to prepare? Of course we didn't. Hello, when do we ever? But here we are. I was at my boys' soccer game yesterday. Yeah, they play soccer in the Super Typhoon, Jay.
Wow. Wait, so this was Chase who was playing
soccer? My boy Channing. So he had a soccer
Channing.
game. Yeah, over at my alma mater, Agueda Johnson, home of the Pirates. Well, we came away with a win. But, just being there at the game, it was like pretty much normal, right? I mean, it was as normal as all this stuff is. And so the numbers yesterday, 263 positive cases. Dr. Hoa Wen. Why is Dr. Hoa Wen the only one who's out here saying things? He said that they were supposed to have their holiday gathering, I guess, for the clinic or whatever, and they're postponing it. And he was saying if you're planning any kind of large gathering, please put it on ice for a couple weeks, just until things die down. It's kind of looking like they all believe, I mean, when I say they, the governor has said it. She said that she's acting as if Omicron is already here. Dr. Bob Leon Guerrero, I want to say like a month ago, said and this was when Omicron was first popping up in Hawaii, he was saying, it's probably here. Dr. Hoa Wen believes that this is an Omicron surge. So any new changes, restrictions? No, everything's still the same, guys. You can still gather up to 100 outdoors, regardless of vaccination status.
Have you heard anything from Dr. Tom Shea?
I have not.
Friend Dr. Shea? I mean, the last time we heard from him was actually because I
they
covered
got
this
to
story.
him, bro.
I covered the story on New Year's Day. Of course, he birthed the first baby.
He always does. We should just pre-write that story every year.
Yeah, well, I love covering that story. It's always such a good one. People really love it. But normally he's been a very outspoken supporter and critic, depending on what the day is of decisions that are made and everything like that. But we've not heard from him for some time.
Yeah, we haven't. I tried to get him on, but I think he's.
No, he's busy too.
He's a busy guy. Yeah, it's a lot of we keep making babies around here. At 6:29 Pacific Points, Calvo Enterprises, ITNE, and Jack in the box. Okay, Jay, tell us a little bit behind the numbers.
Well, here is we'll dive into the whole analytics of it before, but Rosemary Laguana, the question of the morning so far, she kind of
this one, dude. Thank you, because I saw that.
I actually screenshotted it, cropped it, so I could make sure that I just isolated it. So
okay. I want to give props to Rosemary Laguana.
There's a reason she's got that top fan designation on her comment.
She is really on it, and Rosemary, you really pay attention. I mean, our listeners and audience, they're the most pay attention people on the island.
She asked really good questions. Rosemary, if you ever want to work in like KUM News, no interview. Just be
Yeah,
like,
come
I'm
on,
ready.
You're in. She always has really good points, and this one is here's Rosemary LaGuardia. Good morning, Facebook Live. Mind-boggling question of the morning: how do we jump to a car score of 65.0? Oh my God, that's the car score.
65 flat. Yeah. Up from 37.9, up from 22.2, up from 3.
With 263 positive cases, and yet the highest score for 2021 was 46.8. Remember, Guam had over 300 positives one day, but the car score never went past 50. How is this possible? Well, anything's possible when you're making up numbers. I mean, I don't mean like making up numbers. They're not making up the number 65. What they are making up or created, Dr. Cabrera created this car score. And so it doesn't have any standing in a real world universe of numbers and stuff. You can't pull out a car score anywhere. He basically created this formula, which is made up of a bunch of different factors to include the hospitalizations, and there's some number in there.
It does not mention loss of life. That is not one of the factors in there. But as you said many times on this program, it is meant to assess Guam's status with the infections, and a lot of it has to do with the positivity rate and the rate of infection as it's spreading. So that's probably why, Rosemary, to your question and everything like that, why are we having a number that is less than our all-time high number of single-day positives and everything, but the car score is higher, is because it's spreading so rapidly from day to day.
You can't really fault Rosemary, though, because you hear them use this number, and they'll say, I mean, the governor, she says car score a lot, and she'll say, oh, the car score is this, but they only reference it when it's low. Like, they're like, oh, we're okay, the car score is, 2 point whatever. When it's up 65, they don't talk about the car score.
I want to say, is this the highest car score we've ever had?
I don't know. But there was Crystal Paco San Augustine, who's the governor's director of communications. She was in another media with this statement. Again, we're in a very different phase of this pandemic. Vaccinations, boosters, and treatments have been game changers in our response efforts. What remains the most important factor is our healthcare systems. COVID hospital admissions remain manageable. No one's receiving ICU level of care, and no one's on a ventilator. So basically, they say that even if the car score is 65 million, if no one's in the hospital, we're okay. Which is a little conflicting, because if we're going to be taking this serious and acting with the urgency that Dr. Berg and everyone wants us to, then you want to kind of see that same urgency with the COVID response. And as you guys recall, Delta, the response was no response. I mean, it literally was. We had very moderate people on this show all the time. People who got no bone to pick with anybody down in Adelup. And they questioned it too. Why were we doing nothing? All we did was tell unvaccinated people to stay home and eat their own food. I mean, that's what we did. And you saw the correlating effect was that it didn't work. It was just an avalanche of positives, dead on arrivals. It was just so bad. Remember, the CDC came here because they said, what the hell's going on Guam? Got all these DOAs. And so I wonder, is that just how it's going to be with Omicron? If we've got the governor's spokesperson saying that because nobody's in the hospital, it's not as bad as a super typhoon, I guess. What are we going to see moving forward? So I guess just keep it here. We'll let you know as soon as we know.
Yeah, but okay. So
what do you think, though, Jay? I mean, do you think people are?
I would hope that the fact that that GovGov is putting out these numbers and that we're constantly reporting it as our colleagues in media and everything like that, that it would at least give people a chance to at least give them a moment of pause and just say, okay, and like you said, maybe we plan to have like a little barbecue and everything like that. Maybe we can hold off on that. If there was a birthday party, we can say, okay, that it might sting a little bit, but better safe than sorry. I know that that's easier said than done. I get that and everything, but these numbers are staggering. I mean, there's no easy way to say that. I mean,
right. And then there was a data drop from Public Health yesterday. Jay, did you see this?
Yeah, we actually had two stories on that. So a real big live stream that we shared, and then Daniel actually covered two angles of that. One was the public health briefing itself, in which territorial epidemiologist Dr. Ann Pobutsky broke down all of the numbers, the infections, the demography of it and everything. And
so I'm going to talk to my fellow 18 to 39-year-olds. We got to have a meeting Virtually, of course, virtually. But my fellow 18 to 39 year olds
All you millennials.
continue to drive the surge. And there's just no getting around it. They don't believe in COVID. They don't care. They just want to party. That's all. That's all. That's what it is. I know a lot of 18 to 39 year olds, and they don't believe in COVID. They watch these videos and they think it's a big lie, and they just, I don't know.
I don't want to make a sweeping generalization, but I'm absolutely
I
sure
do.
that has a lot to do with it. But also that we know that demographic, at least from our side of the pool, they don't watch the news, they don't pay attention to current events, so maybe they're just not
YOLO, bro. They just want to do what they want to do.
Yeah.
And that's it. And they're gonna keep.
Which is why you hold a particular special place in that demographic's heart.
Oh yeah.
Because you put all these goofy videos, just like you did, like on your Instagram story. But the point being is you're reaching them, and you're able to channel.
Yeah, but there's only so much reach you can do. Like I can make them laugh, but I'm not. And I'm not gonna be like, hey, take the vaccine. If you want to take it, fine, take it. If you want to get boosted, fine, get boosted. I'm not gonna hold a needle to your head. But what I don't like about this 18 to 39-year-old group is they're just reckless. Like, if you want to party, that's fine. But what your partying is doing is you're infecting other people. And that's where it kind of becomes everyone's problem, right?
I've got so many of my friends, like in the States especially, messaging me, and they're like, oh, man, just want to let you know, like, I'm sick. Because I saw, like, over...
Oh, man, there's a lot of people who are sick, even on Guam. I know a lot of people who are... they shut down Gita yesterday for deep cleaning, right?
Yeah.
There's just a lot of positives. People I know, and it's crazy because I know people who didn't know anybody who caught COVID during the last, couple years. And now they're like, oh, my God, this person I know has it. This person I know has it. This person I know has it. I know people who are just randomly getting tested for whatever reason, like if they're going to go off island or, they had to go somewhere where you got to get tested and they're popping positive. So, yeah, obviously with 260 positives.
But I'm not going to disagree with you when you said that, there is a certain demographic that a lot of them have, kind of like the devil may care attitude of just like, like if I get it,
it's
I'll
not
just
even
get
devil
over
may
it.
care, bro. They want to actively like foment dissent and disagreement. It's their right though. Whatever. I'm just not going to participate. And I get it, and I get a lot. A lot of these people who are kind of cuckoo about the pandemic, and there's no doubt it's affected a lot of us. They do try and reach out to me, and they try and get me to push these crazy whatever videos. I just not into it. I'm like a be safe kind of guy. I'm not saying be scared, but like be safe. You know what I mean? 6:38. Dr. Peter Lombard is coming on this morning. I like Dr. Lombard.
Oh, boy, he's had a lot of data over the last week to play with.
He hasn't had any in a while. And, I always reach out to him like, hey, jump on the show. And he's like, oh, I'm busy. But it's crazy. When it gets busy with COVID, that's when we really want him. And
you know what I've also said, too, is if one of these days Google and Microsoft decide to start, like, charging, like, say if they charge, like, $1 million a day to use PowerPoint, there's going to be a whole lot of people who are just like, nope, never touching PowerPoint again. That's too much. I'm not paying for it. Peter Lombard would be one of the people who would probably say, okay, I'm going to use that because PowerPoint is his jam. His PowerPoint game is strong. And actually, we're really interested in seeing what he says about this, because not only does he take a look at what has happened, he also makes predictions.
He does, yeah.
Which is what public health, and they said, okay, well, we've asked them on the show, and they're like, hey, we're not in the prediction business because we don't want to go there.
But Dr. Lombard did do a lot of predicting, and I hate to say it, he's a guy like Dr. Ho Wen. I like him, whatever. We come on, we're cool, but I hate it when they're right.
He hates when he's right.
Yeah, and he was the guy back in 2020. The holidays, he kept saying we're going to see more deaths, and we kept seeing more deaths. And so always a good voice to check in with, and so we'll have him on this morning. Also,
and he's not just throwing out numbers and fancy,
fancy
stack bar charts and everything like that. Because he is a physician himself.
Yeah,
he does have a practice. He's got a baby on the way.
He's a
concerned Guamanian. He wants to see this stop just as much as you are.
And what he does,
his other young children are in school.
Yeah. Is he takes like Dr. Ann and public health's data. So that's like his root, right? He's not like making up his own numbers or creating some crazy formula. He just takes the numbers that exist.
And he cross-references it with what's happening in the
so
world.
That's what he does. So. Guys, another thing that happened yesterday that kind of was like, just like, That's exactly what I did when I saw this.
GW?
The mask mandate reinstated on military bases.
At Big Navy, yeah.
Yeah, and so I got these friends who are like, oh, now you know it's serious because the military wants to wear the mask now. So that came out of Joint Region Marianas, Jay, as a significant increase in COVID cases prompted the Navy to reinstate the mandatory mask policy on base. In a news release, Joint Region Marianas Command stated, in order to preserve force health protection and community public health, all personnel and Department of Defense installations are required to wear a face covering in congregate settings, whether indoors or outdoors, when social distancing cannot be maintained. The mask mandate also applies to dependents and other civilians while on base. Joint Region Commander Admiral Benjamin Nicholson said after 2 months of a downward trend, military installations are now seeing a rapid increase in cases. He also encourages military personnel to get the jab.
So so you're seeing all these different pockets and subsets of society, raise their voice one way or the other and just say, okay, this is happening. We have to change our operations. Because you know what I'm also seeing, Chris, I saw on social media a fair amount of yesterday was the nursing community locally. They're kind of getting back to that when they post on social media and like, hey, we're busting our asses, 16, 17 hours a day for you guys. So please do what you can to like ease the load on us.
Take it easy, yeah.
Yeah, and they're like, we see this kind of stuff, on a daily basis, and that's not easy to go home to.
Yeah.
Or to go home with, I should say.
And you know what they're seeing a lot of too, Jay, is they're seeing a lot of non-COVID hospitalizations.
Yeah. Okay, and we talked about this offline yesterday, you and I, Chris. But remember when we were doing that our segment on this show, like last year, Network of Nurses?
Yeah.
We had a wonderful, lovely discussion with one of the GMH nurses, Tamara, Sitam.
Yeah, Sitam.
Yeah,
the Tamara girl.
And she took care of my dad when my dad had diabetes about like 6 years ago. She's a wonderful nurse. She's also got like that hardened.
She's over at GMH.
Thing. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Takes no crap from anybody, but she's unbelievably compassionate. I believe she said in the several years she's been at GMH, she'd maybe intubated people like maybe 3 or 4 times over a couple of years. But she said in the height of the pandemic, she was doing it almost daily. And she goes, that really takes a toll on someone as a healthcare practitioner.
Yeah. We had a comment here from Elizabeth Agagi talking about Hawaii. Mama Bear, Debbie Davis. Thank you, guys. We have a real international audience here. Debbie Davis, Kentucky had 9,807 new COVID cases Wednesday. That's the highest since the pandemic began. Also reported 29 deaths. Elizabeth Agagi says, same in Hawaii in addition to yesterday with 800-plus teachers calling in sick. And Hawaii only has 400 substitute teachers. Guys, so if you follow how things go for us here on Guam, we always lag a little bit behind what's going on in the States. And there's this...
but proportionally, we basically have the same effect.
Right, yeah.
So smaller scale.
So I think this is just kind of like the beginning.
Yeah.
And for those of us who talk about the less virulent, less severe strain that is Omicron, and that's in comparison to Delta, you can see what's happening in the States. I mean, people are dying. People are going to the hospital. It's the same thing over and over again.
And they're kind of concerned, too, because, think about, I read somewhere where they said, in the States, they're worried about utilities because if they'd be like,
yeah, it's winter.
There's a down power line at my house, or my internet, my router got all screwed up because a line got severed, or, my water doesn't work. And they're like, well, we'll be out there in 4 days because we haven't got enough installers right now because they have to call in sick.
Because everybody's out.
Yeah. Speaking of international, what did you say, Joe, sir, about the number of cases in the Philippines? You were telling me 17,000 positive cases in one day in the PI, according to Mr. Joser.
It's dizzying, guys. It is. And so when we know that we always follow the states, and we know that the Omicron has been the rage in all the headlines for the last couple months, and then we hear our government saying, there's not anybody in the hospital, we're good. It's concerning, right? Because you want to, if you're going to use like the super typhoon analogy, it was a great analogy because we all know what that's like, right? And who wants to go through a super typhoon?
Everyone should be able to empathize with that.
Yeah. But it stopped being a good analogy when we quit acting like we were preparing for a super typhoon. You know what I mean? And that's how I feel where we're at now. Are we doing anything? If our philosophy is test, track, trace, then why are we only testing for 3 hours a day? Why are we turning people away? I mean, there's 263 positive yesterday, but I'm sure if people had been able to go get tested in the late afternoon, right, we would have seen way more. So,
and also, there were a significant number of people who got tested yesterday. 1,647.
Right.
That's pretty high for us.
It is. So, Jay, what is the positivity rate, and what are you tracking with it?
Gosh, you know what? I didn't even do that last night.
Oh, you didn't even do that, bro?
1 sec.
Heck.
But you know who we can ask?
Yeah, who can we ask?
We always know.
Oh, here we go.
Okay, Google. What is 263 divided by 1,647?
0.159684.
15.9%.
So 16% positive. That's crazy.
So it is increasing because it's been around 15.4, 15.2 the last couple of days. So it is going up, and we're just at the beginning of this.
I think it's going to be a lot like Delta. I think they're just going to leave everything, and they're going to keep shoving it on us, saying, "Hey, you guys know what to do already. We're good." And so if that's how it's going to be, then we got to kind of take care of ourselves, guys. I mean, if you don't have to have a huge ass gathering, then don't be safe. Okay. But if the government's response is going to be a lot like Delta, where it's just kind of hands off, sadly, then I'm assuming that their plan is to just let the Omicron run through the community because they can't stop it. But that philosophy comes with a very, very heavy cost, right? A cost of life and liberty. So 646. It's Friday, Jay.
We also had a couple stories from the education sector, of course. GDOE 9 COVID-19 positive students and 2 staffers reported by the agency on Thursday evening. That's 2 at CL Taitano in Sinanya, 1 at JQ San Miguel, 1 at FB Leon Guerrero, 3 at GW High School. We'll get to GW in just a moment. 1 at JFK and 1 at Tidzin. They have disinfected those campuses. They did so last evening and overnight, and those schools resume regular hours of operation today. So they will be operating as normal.
Right.
Also, GW, your alma mater, locked down for a little bit yesterday because of the discovery of a weapon.
Let's get into the news then, shall we? It's 6:47, Friday again, January 7th, 2022. With the very latest for Sabrina Salas Mantonani from the KUAM News team on this Friday morning. Good morning, Jason Salas.
Good morning, Chris and Hafide, and good morning, Guam. Let's recap those numbers once again if you are just joining us. And if you've been listening since the beginning of our show, thank you, first of all. But let these numbers really sink in because this is where we are right now. 263 more COVID-19 cases were confirmed from yesterday's gathered samples. Again, 1,647, which is a pretty high number of testing samples. 263 of them popped positive. Guam's CAR score has again skyrocketed. It was 37.9 yesterday. It is 65 this morning. 13 of your fellow island residents are currently hospitalized because of COVID. 9 of them are vaccinated. 4 of them are unvaccinated. As far as the distribution between which medical facility, 10 of the COVID positive patients are receiving treatment at the Guam Memorial Hospital, 3 up at the Guam Regional Medical City, up here in Dedido, none at the Guam Naval Hospital. Over the past 2 days, of course, Guam has seen close to 400 COVID cases. That number went up to more than that, clearly, last night. Yesterday's public health press briefing shed light on what could be the reason for such a high number, as well as an update on booster eligibility for kids 12 to 15. Here is that story from the public health briefing yesterday, during which territory epidemiologist Dr. Ann Pobutsky broke down the data.
We were getting really low in November, late November. Here's Thanksgiving. We see a slight bump after Thanksgiving that weekend. And then we remain low until we reach Christmas. And it's readily visible, the spike in cases, particularly after that weekend of Christmas weekend. And then, of course, now after New Year's, we're seeing a definite spike.
Territorial epidemiologist Dr. Ann Pobutsky breaking down the recent spike in cases. Dr. Pobutsky added that the island is now seeing 200 cases a day, led by the 18 to 39 age group. When asked if Omicron or the holiday gatherings are the driving force,
it's possible that it's both, but we don't have any evidence of Omicron. The last samples we just got in were up through December 16th, and they were all sublineages of Delta. From the samples we sent. And so it could be both, but we don't have any evidence that Omicron is here yet. We just are definitely seeing after Christmas spike and after holiday spike.
With the sudden spike in cases, the FDA and CDC gave the green light to administer boosters to kids 12 to 15 years of age, which Guam will implement today, according to Public Health Interim Chief Medical Officer Dr. Bob Leon Guerrero. Daniel Perez reporting for Guam's News Network. Reporting for Guam's News Network.
All right, thanks so much, Daniel. Now let's stay with Daniel's reporting because we're on Daniel right now, and stay with Public Health, that same agency, because a health disparity survey is set to begin on Guam in February. Once again, here's Daniel with this story.
The Department of Public Health and Social Services, the Research Corporation of the University of Guam, in partnership with the Mayor's Council of Guam, will be conducting a health disparity survey starting in February. According to Dr. Ann Pabutsky, a territorial epidemiologist for public health who appeared before the MCOG on Wednesday, the survey is to be conducted island-wide, from small to big populations within villages, which is anticipated to go on for the whole year. For example, it will start with Humatek and conclude in Dededo. The purpose of the survey is to locate all who are high risk and identify the hard-to-reach populations. Dr. Pabutsky stated, quote, "Available data shows that the COVID-19 pandemic affects vulnerable or high-risk populations on Guam like Chukis, Pohnpeians, other Micronesians, as well as our low-income Chamorro and Filipino population are getting and dying of COVID," end quote. Public health needs assistance from village mayors in identifying island-wide geographic areas, places, apartment buildings, and homes with at-risk populations. During a presentation to the MCOG at their monthly meeting, Dr. Pabutsky shared what residents can expect to see in the survey, which includes an incentive.
We're not using any names on the survey. It is anonymous. We do ask for a household contact for each household so that we can provide them with gas coupons. If they complete the surveys, they'll get $20 worth of gas coupons. And we're asking about the age, sex, and ethnicity of all household members, school, job, employment, and we're asking what happened during 2020 and 2021. We also want to see how families have coped during COVID, especially if they're at-risk populations. Did they get?
The survey is funded by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, or CDC. Dr. Pabutsky noted all U.S. states are getting health disparity grants because their findings show ethnic minorities on the mainland and disproportionate populations are more likely to get sick and die from COVID-19. Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Jonagan Charfris.
Tyler Metanani has our next report now, as we are taking a look at stories in court. Of course, KUM headlines brought to you by our friends at Pacific Points. So from court, Orlando Hadley was sentenced to 6 years for breaking into his former girlfriend's home. Here's more on this story.
6 years. That's how much 37-year-old Orlando Hadley will serve for breaking into the home of his ex-girlfriend and threatening to fight her boyfriend. Defense counsel William Bischoff asked for the minimum sentence of 5 years, arguing that no actual violence occurred and that Hadley exited the home when the woman pushed him out. Quote, "He had a key to the victim's bedroom. He thought he was welcome there, and when he opened the bedroom and saw her new boyfriend, he was shocked." Hadley apologized for his actions and asked for the court to show mercy and leniency. However, prosecuting attorney Jeremiah Luther argued that the court had shown Hadley mercy when he was offered a furlough in a 2017 case for sexual assault against a minor. There was a warrant for Hadley's arrest during the time of the incident for failing to turn himself in for the previous case. Quote, "Repeatedly, this defendant has tried to manipulate the system and asked for mercy and leniency and has continued to abuse it. This is not some lovesick, harmless individual," said Luther. He asked for the maximum sentence of 10 years to run consecutively with the 2017 case. Judge Arthur Barcinas noted that the court had struggled with separating the current case and the severity of the 2017 case, however noted that his failure to obey court orders and self-surrender was an aggravating factor to consider. The court also noted that he attempted to obstruct the justice system when he gave officers a false name during his arrest. Altogether, he will serve 6 years in prison for burglary, criminal trespass, and harassment. He will be eligible for parole after 5 years and will serve a special parole term of 3 years. The sentence will run concurrent to his 2017 case with credit for time served. For Guam's News Network, I'm Tyler Matanani.
Let's take a look from the island's legal environment now, and continuing with the island's legal environment, where the Guam's Attorney General is leading the charge to educate local residents to recognize the signs of the disturbing topic of human trafficking.
It's the start of a new year, a time to take action, and most importantly, become more educated and aware of the threats that have hidden within society for centuries. This January marks the 12th annual National Slavery and Human Trafficking Prevention Month, and the Office of the Attorney General, along with several other community partners, are working on educating individuals on identifying and responding to human trafficking. Attorney General Levin Camacho explains how their office focuses on what's known as the 3 Ps.
Prevention of crime, the protection of victims, and the prosecution of criminals when warranted. So whether we're talking about human trafficking, whether we're talking about stalking, we have law enforcement component, we have our victim service providers who are there to assist victims of crime, and we also have outreach.
The community is invited to a series of events that will be occurring throughout the month of January that will raise awareness on the issue. A virtual proclamation signing and legislative resolution will be held this Friday at 10:30 a.m. The Zoom link can be accessed at guamcoalition.org. Guam Coalition Against Sexual Assault and Family Violence Executive Director Cynthia Cabot.
We really don't have the statistics to show that it occurs, but we know it is in our community, and I think that lends itself into the importance of raising awareness.
The GCASAFV will also host an outreach event at the Micronesia Mall on January 22nd at 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. According to the U.S. Department of State, trafficking in persons, also known as modern slavery or human trafficking, includes both forced labor and sex trafficking. AG Camacho says an issue that doesn't get enough attention is labor trafficking.
And we've seen both in Guam and also with our neighbors to the north, a resurgence of this type of thing where you're bringing in particular foreign laborers and then you're potentially holding their immigration documents, you're not giving them pay, or you're deducting wages from them for things such as rent. So we just need to make sure that people are aware of the resources.
For more information on the resources and agencies available for victims, visit the online directory at pacificregionresources.org. Visit oag.guam.org/live or contact the hotline at 671-475-0400.
There's help out there. There are a lot of folks that are willing and able to assist.
Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Tyler Matanani.
Let's shift gears now in our rundown and give you perspective on the island's private sector, as more companies have already signed up for the Local Employers Assistance Program, the LEAP initiative, as you know. More have signed up than first projected, in fact. The strong interest in the program is another glaring indication of how hard the pandemic has hit businesses, especially those in our critical tourism sector.
We know a lot of businesses have been hurting. And with the challenges of even tourism being extended out through summer at this point, with airlines not coming to Guam, I know that businesses are going to be in further need. And so we can only be able to display that or to show, need for that if we have an overwhelming response. So
the LEAP program offers a forgivable loan. It becomes a grant if certain criteria are met, such as keeping employees or hiring new ones. Rhodes urges every business that believes it can qualify to apply.
Right now, we have 819 companies that have applied thus far. The award is up to, I believe, $300,000. They were considering possibly $500,000, but that was based on expecting 600 companies to apply. And so I know that they reconsidered that number because of the sheer size of the number of possible applicants.
The governor allocated $25 million of her American Rescue Plan funds for the LEAP program, and the legislature matched it with money from the general fund. Separately, the GHRA president also sought to clear up some confusion. She says restaurants are still allowed to operate at 100% capacity indoors, but any one group cannot exceed the 25-person limit.
But that doesn't mean that the restaurant or hotel needs to limit everybody, because they can have multiple reservations as long as those reservations aren't related to each other, where you're trying to bypass the maximum of 25 per group. Unfortunately for the businesses, they've had a very hard time really managing all of this, because people will try to make different reservations and work around the guideline. And so it's very difficult to police something where public health themselves have a hard time policing.
Rhodes is appealing to restaurant goers to cooperate. Businesses, she says, are just trying to comply with what the government has mandated. For Guam's News Network, I'm Nestor Lecanto.
From regional headlines, quite the shocking revelation yesterday, as reported by our Tomas Manglotnia, as the chief executive in the CNMI wants a closed-door meeting with Chief Justice Alexandro Castro about the lawsuit with the Legislative Investigative Committee seeking the impeachment of Ralph Torres.
The governor did request for a private meeting with Chief Justice Castro. They call it in legal terms ex parte, which is highly unethical.
The line between the three branches of government being redrawn, NMI Governor Ralph Torres wanting a closed-door meeting with the High Court. It comes as he filed a lawsuit against the Legislative Investigating Committee after they held him in contempt for failing to appear before them.
Unfortunately, I'm not at liberty to release any documents at this time related to that. I may later on do so. It depends, but the letter does exist. The communication does exist. And he was advised by the court to serve us those that request. So that's how we found out about it.
The House will vote on 6 articles of impeachment next Wednesday at 10 a.m. If 2/3 vote in favor of it, it moves to the Senate for a trial, where the Chief Justice could preside over it.
We hope the senators keep an open mind and not pass judgment before they see a single shred of evidence. And that's all we can hope for.
In a statement last night, Governor Ralph Torres says he's done nothing wrong and describes some Democratic lawmakers as bullies who misinformed the public.
We haven't bullied anybody. If anything, he has tried to bully the legislature, like I said, by trying to dictate how he wants his investigation to be conducted. And that speaks highly to his character as a person.
Tomas Manglotnia for KUAM News.
Now, following up on Chris's coverage of the continuing cockfighting issue, the Animal Wellness Action Organization said they have cockfighters on the run and there's more trouble on the way, they say, for those who violate the federal ban on fighting chickens.
Wayne Pacelli is not going to stop. The head of Animal Wellness Action has been pleading with the governor to stop turning a blind eye to illegal cockfights on Guam, but it looks like his pleas have fallen on deaf ears. Pacelli staked out the Dedito Game Club after a schedule of cockfights for the new year went viral on WhatsApp. He says the group sent drones up over the weekend and did see activity at the Dome, but he also says he's gotten tips that cockfighters are fleeing to more secret locations.
I've got 2 very solid tips about cockfighting venues in Jigo. And we are, if it's the Dome, we want to have eyes on it. If it's the other venues throughout the territory, we want to have eyes on it there.
AWA is also offering rewards for information about illegal cockfights or animal cruelty. Pacelli says he's in contact with federal law enforcement officials and will be forwarding information to them relative to a smoking gun he says he was able to obtain.
Somebody sent us footage from a cockfight, and we are in the process of identifying the individuals there. And I think it's going to be startling when we release the details. We've got some information already.
Some senators have raised concerns about cocking on Guam, to include Senator Sabina Perez. Senator Perez telling KUAM News 2022 might be the time to revisit the local law that makes cockfighting legal despite a federal law to the contrary. Senator Joanne Brown also brought up the unregulated and unchecked large-scale gambling associated with cockfighting after Reventax Deputy Director Marie Lazama told KUAM DRT has no enforcement or collection role when it comes to cockfighting cash. Pacelli, meanwhile, is again asking island residents to say something if they see something.
I want to ask all of your listeners, if you do have information for us, on illegal acts of animal cruelty, email us at animalcrueltytips@animalwellnessaction.org. That's animalcrueltytips@animalwellnessaction.org. We will follow up on every one of them.
For Guam's News Network, Chris Barnett reports.
SportsLink is brought to you by Mariana's Irrigation and Landscape.
Academy Cougars basketball player Mia Taitano made it official by signing her letter of intent to play basketball for Vanguard University. Mia signed at the school's campus in front of her parents, coaches, and teammates.
Being able to sign now is really a blessing because I don't really have to worry about whether or how my future looks. But it does give me the motivation to continue to work hard knowing what's next. My parents made a lot of sacrifices for me to go out there, and they always push me to dream big and don't sell myself short.
Now for some McDonald's High School Basketball Classic highlights from the jungle. Islanders player Mark Morales drains the corner three. Guam High down 31-27 at the half. Trade in Rosario. Cross-court pass to Cameron Brantley. Brantley goes through the lane for 2 of his 12 points here. Guam High trying to avoid the backcourt violation. Steal by Hendricks De Fiesta, who drives and gets the left-handed finish to go for 2 points. Panthers make it a game as time was winding down. Rosario off on the shot. Teammate Martin Walker crashes the boards and takes it right back up for the putback. Kyle Watanabe with the score off the steal. JFK started to press up on the Panthers ball handlers. Kirsten Guzman with the assist to Zapanta for the go-ahead three. Another costly turnover by the Panthers. Justin Lazama regains possession and finds De Fiesta, who gets the ball poked away. Carl Vinca at the right place at the right time. Vinca scored 10 points. Islanders won 60-58. ITNE, KUAM Sports, and Clutch will be hosting the Rising Stars high school football game this Sunday, January 9th at the GW Field. Before that game, there will be a youth football clinic from 12 to 4 in the afternoon for kids ages 10 to 14 years old. Check out guamtime.net to register. Participants will take part in football drills and skills workouts. To finish up the day, players will be split into teams and hit the field for some flag football games. Coaches from the Guam National Youth Football Federation will be on the field helping the young athletes sharpen up their game. The 2022 Rising Stars High School Football Showdown is going down this Sunday, January 9th at the GW Field. Guam's top freshman and sophomore players get a chance to suit up one last time. The game is dedicated to the players who missed out on their last youth football season.
Out of all these years I've been coaching, if you give a kid a little incentive, like how to play the sport, or at least a little taste of a game, then you see that their motivation will increase. They'll do more running, they'll do more working out, they'll try to be more attentive. Their attention span grows bigger and bigger and bigger. Just in the fact of just letting them play one more game or one more play, that really builds a lot of character on a player.
Teaming up for the Rising Stars will be FD Guam High Simon Sanchez and Teason High representing Team Phenoms. Southern High, GW, JFK, and Ukudu will represent Team Thrashers. Kickoff for the inaugural Rising Stars High School Football Showdown is scheduled for 6:30 at the GW Field.
I just want to play one last game because, my youth years, I could have played my last year in Matua, but it was canceled because of COVID-19. And yeah, I was just really excited.
I hated how we missed my last season for youth, and it sucked so bad.
Yeah, we're making new friends. Some of these guys, I've seen them on the field. Now to play with them is pretty fun. Yeah.
Tickets for the game are available on guamtime.net. Gates will open at 5:30. Catch the live stream Sunday, 6:30 p.m. on KUAM TV8. Also streaming on KUAM's Facebook page. In other news, the Guam Football Association Executive Committee recently approved the appointment of Joe Cepeda as the organization's new General Secretary, effective January 2022. Guam Football Association has long been one of the top sports organizations in Guam
And in the time I've spent in the sport, from coaching at the grassroots level to serving as GFA's vice president, the organization has grown, Cepeda said. I look forward to working directly with the team at GFA, as well as with other football stakeholders in my new role as General Secretary. Players hitting the field in this weekend's Rising Stars football game are excited to be suiting back up. The high school football showdown kicks off Sunday, January 9th at the GW Field.
Unfortunately, due to COVID, we didn't have the opportunity for these boys to play the last couple of years, so this is a perfect opportunity for them to come out and show their skill set and what they're made of with their true peers. I know some of the guys, they played varsity football, but again, this is an opportunity to play with their true peers, which hopefully will help their confidence and instill into them that they really can play this game at a higher level.
Fans can get tickets for the game at guamtime.net.
The All-Star game, those are just the juniors, seniors. You know, sometimes sophomore and freshmen fall under the radar, you know, and they just never get shown their skill.
I'm glad that my work these past few months have been recognized and that I get the opportunity to show that I've really grown over the season.
I'm excited for the upcoming game because we didn't get to play the last season, so we couldn't show like who's going to be great and who's getting better and stuff like that. So it's finally an opportunity to show.
I think it's another opportunity to make more friends and to show the whole league that the underclassmen are better players too.
One of the things that we look at here is this group actually missed a year of football development. They missed that. So anytime you have a chance to get back some of that with various coaches, like just here on this field, we have coaches from 4 different teams who are here. And so anytime you get a chance to recoup some of the skills that you lost in real-time football, you're going to come out a better player.
Gates will open at 5:30 with kickoff scheduled for 6:30. Repping the Phenom squad will be FD, Guam High, Sanchez, and Teason High. Catch the live stream this Sunday at 6:30 on KUAM TV8, also streaming on KUAM's Facebook page. In programming news, Monday, January 10th at 4 in the morning, NFL on CBS, KUAM TV 11, the Pittsburgh Steelers at Baltimore Ravens. Also on Monday, January 10th at 11:20 in the morning, NBC Sunday Night Football on KUAM TV 8, the Los Angeles Chargers at Las Vegas Raiders.
SportsLink is brought to you by Mariana's Irrigation and Landscape.
Mariana's Irrigation and Landscape Superstore. Stop on by and visit our showroom today. We offer everyday low prices on all major outdoor power equipment like bush cutter, chainsaw, power washer, generators, and more. Need service, repair, maintenance? Well, check out Guam's best superstore only at Mariana's Irrigation and Landscape, located in Barragata along Army Drive between Submarina and Besta Market. Call 735-7446 for more information. Now shipping to surrounding islands. Mariana's Irrigation and Landscape Superstore.
Do you feel like you're missing out on something? Make life more rewarding with Pacific Points. Earn and redeem points for bill rebates and free load at IT&E, discounts on fuel at Shell, vouchers at Foodies, and United Mileage Plus miles. You can even pay with Pacific Points at IT&E, Shell, and Foodies. Pacific Points. Do more, get more.
GU Self-Storage, conveniently located near the Harmon McDonald's. We offer affordable rates, online payments, and auto bill pay for your convenience. Plus gate access daily from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. Call us today at 648-7867 for more information.
Get the job done the right way by getting the right stuff at East West Rental Center. With years of experience helping builders, we definitely got what you need. Call 646-1463 or visit us in Upper Tumon. Open Monday to Saturday from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. and on Sundays from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Say hello to the First Hawaiian Bank mobile app, where you get smart insights into your finances so you can make smart decisions with your money. With a daily personalized feed, you can compare your monthly income to spending. That's better. Discover where your money is actually going. You might be surprised. See what's essential and what isn't. The more you use the app, the smarter it gets. With insights from the First Hawaiian Bank mobile app, It all starts with yes.
Attention basketball fans, the wait is over. Clutch Guam presents the second annual McDonald's High School Basketball Classic, going down December 20th to January 8th at the Father Duenas Jungle. Make sure you come through to watch some high school boys and girls varsity division action. You do not want to miss out. Special thanks going out to KUAM Sports. We'll see you there.
I didn't get screened because I was just afraid of it.
I procrastinated.
I didn't have any symptoms.
I didn't have insurance.
I didn't want to know.
There were several services that was available to me.
I got a mammogram.
Colonoscopy.
I know in my heart that early detection saved my life.
And I just tell people all the time, please go get screened.
Uno Mixed. We're mixing it up on the last Thursday of every month with a look at lifestyle, entertainment, food, and so much more on the stations, networks, and digital platforms of KUAM Communications.
Uno Mixed is presented to you by Docomo Pacific, Better Together, and Pepsi, That's What I Like.
KUAM's multi-platform morning show, The Link, just got a little more delicious with Feed Me Fridays. Chris, Sabrina, Jason, and the rest of the morning crew will take some time off each Friday to talk, taste, and tempt you with all the latest and greatest food and drinks on Guam, old faves, new hits, and everything else we can put in our bellies. It's Feed Me Fridays on The Link, brought to you by King's Restaurants, Ruby Tuesday Guam, and Devondale. Real milk from free grazing cows.
Pacific Matters is a half-hour news, culture, and lifestyle show focused on issues that impact Guam, the Northern Mariana Islands, and the larger Pacific region. Join Tomas Magonia every Monday to discuss politics, trends, and take a deep dive into the issues changing our island home, because what happens in the Pacific matters.
Let us know what's up on our KOM News WhatsApp tip line at 671-727-0094. Share information about what's happening in your town, on Guam or the CNMI, and what you want us to know. Reach us on WhatsApp at 671-727-0094.
We know you're tired of hearing about COVID-19. Some of you are probably wondering whether this is ever going to end. However long it takes, we all have to do our part, including our children, to hold the line. You can protect yourself and your family by getting vaccinated.
And if you're already vaccinated, don't let your guard down, because you can still give and get COVID-19. And if you're not vaccinated, remember that if you catch the virus, you could suffer more severe complications. At the end of the day, it's the choices we make to protect ourselves, our families, and our community that will control the spread.
We know it sounds repetitive at this point, but again, wash your hands, watch your distance, and wear your mask.
Together, we have to hold the line.
The world of television is more exciting than ever. Don't miss a minute of special presentations from NBC on KUAM TV8 or from CBS on KUAM TV11. Every month, we'll bring you the fun and excitement of award shows and red carpet moments, special series presentations, and other great network programs. Brought to you locally by King's Restaurant, Ruby Tuesday Guam, and Docomo Pacific, giving you more reasons to tune in and turn on. Fall in love with TV again with the best from KUAM Communications. This season, KUAM Communications is ready to go with more games, more championships, and more sports specials guaranteed to bring out the fan in you. Don't miss a minute of gameplay from NBC on KUAM TV8 or from CBS on KUAM TV11. We're bringing you all the action and excitement brought to you locally by Mariana's Irrigation and Landscape and Docomo Pacific. See what's on TV tonight with schedules, network news and notes, local promotions and giveaways on KUAM Communications social media pages. Like and follow us on Facebook or Instagram now for all the latest and never miss out.
Continuation of this music, do the best that I can give as I live day to day in the present and forget with try to change my ways on the path that is given. Been a long and crazy road, still I push up for the biz, drizzle love over the track with some pride for a bit of unmistakable taste. Waste not when driven, when the fire is ablaze, cool the heat down, no more skit. Worked in and out of doing music, so you can say I live for this. Mind, body, and soul, beat on my heart, this is it. Perceptive, open, simply stricken when you vibe to a crisp bucket list, not fulfilled, not yet. Listening, I'm loving the way you sound, screaming loud, rocking it. Shocking when I see you bobblehead. I live for it, wish for this unconditional love. Hover above the clouded dish. Shroud has been removed from this being, spark some wit here. Kanta, burita nota bogu, sintu usma osisa, esti ilina lohu, mekut wita. Kanta, burita nota bogu, sintu usma osisa, esti ilina lohu. Up on the fact that I now have your attention. Pretensions were my intentions, no more misdirection, misaffection for my goal. Back to claim what I hold ever so dearly. This time, never again will I fold. Bold with the vocalizations and treble ways, devil ways, straight away. I'm back to better days. Burden on my shoulders, lifted no bolder. Will I play? The sickness has been diminished. Now I'm serious with the play. Mix and match, synonyms versatile with variety. No hearing shall be paid to the judgment of society. Proposal has been pitched. Trust, there's no denying the onomatopoeia. Boom, boom, in the side of three. Spite of he who taketh so much ish for a widened plea. Tried to cross America, never going to hit up on the coast to sea. Posted free, toasted, he has put on the game. No shame, no timid styles to be added on the name.
Hey, good morning, it's Friday. Friday, madness! You can still yell Friday in a super typhoon type setting. I know I'm clowning on a little bit, but I did like the analogy. I just didn't like the follow through. I was talking to a friend of mine. I was like, that's how you can tell these high officials, they never had to put up their own shutters. They're talking typhoon shutters to people who are on an old plywood budget. 7:23, it's Friday, January 7th. Pacific Points, Cabo Enterprises, ITini, and Jack in the Box. 260 cases reported last night with about just a little short of 1,700 tests performed. Jay, when the governor made the super typhoon analogy, she talked about putting up the shutters and what they believe are shutters, the vaccinations, and the boosting efforts, Jay. So where can people go to get their shutters today?
Okay, so if you want to get tested, 8 to 11, please make preparations. I mean, I know, and Chris has been harping on it a little bit about the somewhat limited hours of testing and everything, but at least for today and tomorrow, 8 to 11 at the Old Carnival Grounds in Teaden, you can go get your test. You can know your status, and we highly encourage you to do so. Next week, hours will be expanded, as officials have said, but that's for testing. If you want to get vaccinated, please do make sure to hit the URL, tinyurl.com/VAX Guam, and you can make an appointment to go be seen at the University of Guam Calvo Fieldhouse, or if you want to go to a place that is more closer to your village, go to tinyurl.com/COVID stops with me.
Yes. And let's go ahead and head into the KUAM News Zoom room here where we have Dr. Peter Lombard, who's standing by. Good morning, Doc.
Good morning, Chris. Good morning, Jason. How are you?
We're doing pretty good. I want to say it's good to see you, but we usually only see each other when things are getting hot and heavy.
But, he is in a good mood, I will say, because, Doc, congratulations on your beloved midshipman.
What's that?
Congratulations on Navy doing as well as they did this year.
Yeah, beating Army, that's all you have to do, and it's a good year, right?
Jason has been waiting to tell you that. So
You ended the year on a positive note.
It's been a few weeks since our last meeting. The game was a few weeks ago, but I was like, what? Oh, yeah, that's right.
And like I said, he's been waiting.
I think those of us here in Harmon, Pete, heard you cheering all the way from your office over there. So, no, it's all good.
All right.
Yeah, no, thanks, Jason. I appreciate that. And I've thanked you guys before, but thanks again for all you do and getting the message out about testing and where to get your boosters. I think, with the audience that you have, for people to have that access to the information is very, very important and crucial. So thanks for your relentless, determination to get the word out there. And I'm really, it's tough to be here again and to see these kind of numbers. We can just jump right into it if you'd like, Chris.
Go ahead, Doc.
Okay. Here's where the U.S. sits. I throw this up early on in every presentation. So we were one of the worst in the country and the world back in October, November. We had a terrible Delta wave, one of the worst in the country, and then we were best in the U.S. for well over a month. And now you can see we're upticking, but compared to the rest of the United States, we're still the very best. So even though we're seeing this big increase, we're still holding our own against the rest of the country. Look at New York. Just it's the and this is per capita, so it gives you some idea of scale here. I mean, the numbers we're seeing in almost half the U.S. are higher than the case counts we've been seeing per capita ever, and that's in over half the state. So this Omicron is no joke. The level of transmissibility is just incredible. So on this slide, I wanted to isolate just the bottom 10 in the country. So these are the best performing states right now with the Omicron virus, okay? So you can see us grouped down here, except for New York. I kept it on there just for scale so you can see the difference. And we're talking about, at least for Guam, maybe a 7-fold difference in the number of cases that you're seeing per capita. And one interesting thing I see here is you see a big Delta wave for Guam and not much one for New York. In fact, if you look at Guam and New York, we sort of alternate times with waves. It's correlation, not causation, but still, it's interesting. But you also see amongst these other low states with low Omicron impact right now, some of them at least had a pretty significant Delta wave. And I throw that out there because I'd like to think and hope, again, trying to be optimistic here that the recency and the severity of our Delta wave has left us with a certain level of immunity, whether it's vaccinated, then infected, or just infected, that is very recent enough that it's still providing some level of protection against the Omicron virus being able to get out there as much as it would have otherwise. In a population like New York, which hasn't seen much level of active virus at all, okay? So we'll contrast this to, now this is just the top 10. In this case, I just left Guam up here for comparison. These are the top 10 states in the country right now with the Omicron virus. And you can all see all of them, with the exception of Florida here in green, all of them had a pretty mild Delta wave. And Hawaii maybe, but it was shifted a little bit to the left as well too. So interesting to see Hawaii in the top 10. They just broke into the top 10 the past couple of days. And of course, that's a place where a lot of comparisons are made for Guam. We're still doing fairly well with Omicron. Remains to be seen. I was actually surprised that it took so long for Omicron to show up here. But I think, when you see this level of spike, and if you look at just the slope of how rapidly this is going up, how rapidly it's gone up everywhere else, I mean, I just can't. It's hard to imagine this not being Omicron, what we're seeing out there today. I mean, we did see numbers in the 200s in the Delta wave, but it took a long time to get there, right? And this happened in a matter of about a week. So the only thing that I think really could do that to us would be the Omicron variant here. This was from the public health slides yesterday. Just to reiterate, this is the younger age groups, the middle age groups, 18 to 39 is primarily driving this. This is the group that's out working and moving around a lot more than the other populations. Here's where we stand overall in total deaths so far. We're still in the bottom, just in the bottom 10 in the U.S. for total deaths from COVID. But unfortunately, a lot of those happened to us in the Delta wave. If we hadn't had such a huge Delta surge in deaths, then we would have been sitting a lot better. So we're sitting about 73 deaths per 100,000 since the vaccine was widely available. And when, I've shown this before. I don't know how you can look at this and not see how the level of vaccination, which is on the bottom here, the higher vaccinated you're on the right, more deaths you're at the top. So there's clearly a trend towards decreasing COVID deaths the more vaccinated you are. But way out here to the side, there's where Guam sits if we put us at about 85% vaccinated and about 730 deaths per million. So we're a bit of an outlier in terms of the level of deaths, but that was because we had that strange high number of deaths during Delta with a lot of DOAs. And that's in a setting where we're now at least 85% fully vaccinated. Looking at our boosted rate, we're only 30% boosted right now. And unfortunately, 100,000 out of all 130,000 that are fully vaccinated right now are already 6 months from their vaccine. And and it's already moved to 5 months. So now you probably bump that number up even more, maybe 105, 110,000 people. And we've only boosted about 30,000 of them, I think. So we've got a long way to go. And I'd like to, encourage everybody to get boosted that have been vaccinated over 5 months from now, because it definitely shows protection against the Omicron virus. And I'll show a slide about that. So here's nationally, this is the CDC slides. The purple is the Omicron. You can just see the rapid ascent. It's like 95% of all the cases out there in the United States right now. So no surprise that we're starting to see here. The other interesting thing is that, a lot of people maybe are under the impression that this was this progression of variants from Delta to Omicron, but Omicron sort of developed on its own. It's sort of on this own lineage that predated Delta and then started. So you can see that the genomic variability compared to all the previous variants is very different. When you look at all the differences in the genome structure, it's quite different. So this is more of and what we refer to as the antigenic drift. I thought that was interesting. And it's also remarkable that even though the vaccines were not tailored towards Omicron, it's remarkable that even without any modification, the vaccines are working at all against Omicron. And they are. Even with waning immunity, even if you're 6 months out, you still have about 50% protection against hospitalization versus not being vaccinated. So that's remarkable. And I think that speaks to, we feel very fortunate that we have vaccines at all that are still working against these variants. A number of studies, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, are showing reasons why Omicron is less severe. The way it infects lungs, it's less likely to get deep into the lungs. It's more in the upper airways. And it's just all of the changes, the mutational changes in the virus, it makes it act differently. And thankfully, we're not seeing as much severe disease, particularly in the setting of people that have levels of vaccination or prior exposure to the virus. And you can see, at least in the UK data, what's referred to as this uncoupling of cases versus deaths. Even though the cases are spiking, the deaths aren't coming up as high as they were with the previous variants. And that speaks to success of the vaccines as well. So, in yellow is hospitalizations and deaths down at the bottom here. Looking at some of the earliest U.S. states, we're not seeing the same level of decoupling. Unfortunately, the hospitalizations are tracking higher than what they're seeing in the U.K., and there could be a variety of reasons for that. So I think the real challenge here is there's never one place you're going to be able to look and say, oh, we're going to look like that. Mm-hmm. I think every location has its own unique variables that are going to determine how bad the Omicron wave is. You look at a place like Maryland, for example, they're having a terrible time with Omicron. They're in a position where their hospitals they're canceling elective surgery. They're diverting. I was trying to get a patient medevac to the States, and they're saying, sorry, we're on divert right now. You've got to look at a different city. And that's actually affecting us here in Guam, even the fact that there's certain places we can't send patients to in the U.S. So, even though it's less severe, the sheer volume and numbers of patients that are out there in cases is causing enough hospitalizations that it's still affecting the healthcare system. And it's going to affect people that don't even have COVID, that have to have their other healthcare taken care of. Here's the slide that demonstrates the third dose, the booster shot, increases your protection against hospitalization from 2 doses from 50% up to about 88%. So this is still early data, but it's really encouraging to see that. And I think it's hard to put a chart up here and say, hey, look at this. This is why you need to get vaccinated. I don't know how else to show people there is a real benefit to getting that booster dose. So please get out there and get your booster. It'll protect against hospitalization and it protects against symptomatic disease. Hospitalizations in Guam, we're starting, here we are at about 13, and hopefully it doesn't go much higher than that. I don't know how many hospitalizations are we going to see with Omicron variant here. We know that there's going to be a delay in hospitalizations from cases by 10 days plus even. Deaths might be delayed 2 or 3 weeks, so that remains to be seen. Don't have a crystal ball. I'd like to think that our recent high Delta wave will protect us to some degree from the levels that we're seeing in some other states. In Hawaii, for example, they're seeing a much bigger spike in cases earlier before Guam, but their hospitalizations are pretty high, not as high as they've ever seen, but on the rise. So that might be a place for us to watch. There's been, the CDC has published their mortality data from 2020. I know it's already a year out, but it takes them that long to sort of finalize all the numbers. But, these blue lines down here are previous years. So the dark blue is 2015, 2018, 2019 is in light blue, and then red, that's 2020. So, something weird happened in 2020. I don't know if you guys know what that was, but obviously a number of things went into, these are total deaths in the United States, from all causes, and it's age adjusted. So some people that matters to them, but something, happened here. And of course, we know coronavirus it played a big role in that, but other people are saying, well, there's other deaths. There's deaths of despair. There's deaths from people not getting their health care. And so there's somebody that I follow who did sort of a deep dive into this. And I think we've talked about the suicide rate as a concern. Interestingly, right when the U.S. got hit, there was a decrease in suicides. Kids are out of school. Actually, we think that there's something to do with being in school that causes more suicides. But what we clearly didn't see an increase in suicides in the United States, at least, and that holds true in most places, except for perhaps Japan. Interestingly, though, I think transportation accidents on the roads increase, and we think possibly because there's less cars out there, people are driving faster. Another consequence is that accidental drug overdoses increase. So these are not intentional drug overdoses like somebody trying suicide, but accidental drug overdoses increase. And what the lockdowns and what the coronavirus did to society and people's access to drugs probably has played some role here. But that definitely played a little bit of a role in the overall uptick in deaths overall. And this one I thought was really curious. These are homicides from gun violence, and this is only seen in the United States, by the way. They looked at other countries, and only homicides from gun violence did not increase during the pandemic to the same degree it did in the United States. So I thought those were just a couple cool little slides to pop up. But as you guys know, probably seen in the news, Texas Children's and Baylor's, they developed a vaccine which it's going to be patent free. They've already made 150 million doses, and they can increase the production to 100 million. Per month, and they're already distributing this out to India. So this is key, I think, when it comes to decreasing the number of variants that we're going to see. We've got to get the vaccine out to the entire world, especially the countries that don't have the access to the earlier vaccines. So this is really good news. As you guys were talking about earlier in the show, we know we can boost now down to 12 years old. And that we can give the booster down to 5 months from the second dose. So this is some of the latest stuff. I think we're in this wash cycle. I mean, if you think this is the last variant we're gonna see, we're certainly going to see more variants. And are we going to be having to decide every time this happens what we're going to be doing? I think there's very few eligible unvaccinated left in Guam. There may only be a few thousand of them, and I don't think that they're necessarily going to be driving this surge and future surges. You can see in the hospitalization data, at least, we've got 85% people vaccinated. It's no surprise that if we have people hospitalized, a fairly big chunk of them are going to be vaccinated already. What are we going to do? How much of this are we going to live with, right, Chris? I mean, that's how much are we going to expect is going to even make a difference when it comes to this variant in particular, which is so transmissible. You know, you could say 25 limit on gatherings versus 50 limit on gatherings, and realistically, how are people going to follow it, and what difference is it actually going to make in terms of the spread? Now, when you're talking about a virus like Omicron, we're seeing already 200 cases. How high is it going to go? 300, 400? I think already we know the true number of cases. You know, we know people aren't getting vaccinated. It could be, I've seen estimates 10 to 20 times the number of you actually tested, you know, and this varies in every state. Some states it's a lot easier to get testing, others very difficult. A lot of states have a lot more at-home testing, and these people aren't even going in to get counted, you know. So I think it's easy to say we've got thousands of cases out there, that, you know, true cases out there. So in the setting of that, you're like, you want to just throw up your hands and say, well, you know, it's everywhere. You know, it's like, what do you do? You know, but I think, you know,
that's what I call the doc. That's what I call the Dr. Berg approach.
From a practical approach, though, I mean, I think focusing on you know, sort of super spreader events and you know, I think we still need to you know, I think there's two components here. There's people that are still going to die, and so if you look at the people that are dying now, and I think you guys touched on this earlier, the ones that are most vulnerable, the ones that haven't been vaccinated, maybe the low income, certain portions of our population, you know, that effort to reach out to them and getting them vaccinated, getting them treated early, I think that's critical in keeping our deaths down. And then the other side of this, which unfortunately I just don't feel like we have a good handle on, is this long COVID issue. I mean, I think it'd be easy to say, okay, I think this virus is affecting us much like the flu now, so let's just treat it like the flu and just allow, you know, not get too spun up about it, you know. But this whole long COVID issue is, you know, I don't think we've seen influenza people recovering from influenza having the same types of long-term problems as we are with COVID. And
Doc, I'm sorry, Doc, to interrupt, sure, but could you just maybe give a little context about what, I mean, I know what long COVID is, but just for our listeners, if you could explain long COVID and how it makes COVID different from, like you were saying, the flu.
Well, they'll keep tabs on people after they've recovered from COVID, whether it's, you know, a mild infection or a severe infection, and particularly with the severe infections. And they'll ask them, you know, what symptoms are you still feeling? And there's a number of symptoms which are persisting for a long period of time. Fatigue, still trouble with breathing. They've even looked at elite athletes. I think there was a recent study I saw in like elite professional soccer players the percentage of them reporting difficulties, you know, regaining their normal level of fitness is pretty striking as well. So even in fit people, they're feeling like there are lingering effects that are, you know, something that we haven't seen with other illnesses. And there's neurologic issues, cognitive function issues. There is a study that looked at cardiovascular events like strokes, heart attacks, arrhythmias, and they followed people for a whole year after they survived from a COVID infection. And there was a higher percentage of events in people that had COVID versus people that hadn't. So, you know, it's not a huge number, but it's still enough that makes you say, I still don't want to get COVID, even if I recover. I still don't necessarily want it because I don't know, maybe these long COVID effects are, but is it still to the magnitude and severity that we're going to make, you know, dramatic changes and think that we're going to achieve zero COVID and not allow the virus to spread? I mean, I think that's unrealistic. But it doesn't have to be this dichotomy of zero COVID versus let it rip, you know, obviously, but what practical things can we do? Again, try to do the things that will protect yourself, protect your family, and maybe, you know, from a public health perspective, do the things that will prevent super spreader events where we'll dramatically increase the numbers of cases in the community. I mean, yes, we're seeing probably thousands of cases in the community, but if we can decrease that even by 20%, 30% by doing some things, I think there's value to that. You know, we may not see that. We may not even realize the benefits of doing something like that. But I think that's what we need to think about here. You know, I think that it's a real, I don't know, administrative issue, even nationally, where, you know, the availability of cheap and available rapid tests has been a big failure, a huge failure. I mean, we should have these on the shelf for $1 each. And you know, we can work through the reporting later, but the ability to know if you're infectious right now is huge. Yeah, it's not as sensitive as PCR, but if you can keep repeating this test, and you know that right before you go meet with your your grandparents that you know if you're infectious or not right now. I think that there's a lot of value to that. The oral agents, while they're showing great efficacy, we just can't get them. I was reading an article about somebody who was in New York, and they called 20 pharmacies that were within driving distances, and one of them had this Pavloxid drug, which can help. And so, you take a place on the East Coast with access to lots of pharmacies, and compared to Guam, we're just not gonna have access to some of these drugs, and right now they're in demand everywhere, and there's a national surge. So. Yeah. So we'll see. I want to hope and believe, just because I'm looking at other places that have had a high Delta surge that are a little bit ahead of us in the Omicron wave. I'd like to think we're not going to see as bad of overwhelming of resources as we're seeing in other states, and that's my personal take on this. But again, practically speaking, let's be careful. Let's be smart. Let's continue to just take reasonable precautions, but also understand that this is a really nasty virus, and the transmissibility is just crazy. I mean, consider. I sent a message to my staff when we saw 200 cases. I said, just consider being antisocial for the next 2 to 3 weeks. Don't go out. Go to work, protect yourself. Consider double masking. Consider getting an N95 mask if you're really concerned. Tell your loved ones that have comorbidities just to really play it safe in the next 2 to 3 weeks. South Africa's wave, it was 3 weeks and it was essentially done. 3 weeks, that's not a terrible amount of time. It's looking worse in the UK, and again, I think every location is going to be a little bit different. So we'll have to see how this plays out in Guam and hope for the best.
Doc, thank you. I do have a few questions. First one here under the take-home points. Your optimistic take, it'll be less severe in Guam compared to other locations, about a 3-week surge, less than 50 hospitalized. How optimistic is this take? Because I know that you said earlier it's very hard to look at a London or Hawaii or a Maryland and say, like, that's how we're going to do, because as we all know, we've got some unique circumstances here on the island, whether it's the, sick population or the fragile healthcare system. So, yeah, when you kind of look out at the lay of the land and you make this optimistic take, just how optimistic is it?
Well, I think there's definitely folks who think that things are going to be a lot worse, and so I'd say it's perhaps quite optimistic compared to how bad things could be, but yeah, I guess how realistic, how likely is this take to play out, and I don't have a crystal ball, Chris. I'm making my I'm trying to read the tea leaves here, and I'd like to think that there is reason for us to be a little bit optimistic compared to some other locations. Now, that doesn't mean, even if we get through this wave a little easier, it doesn't mean that maybe Omicron will come back and affect us a little worse down the road. Or again, if we have a period of fairly low viral activity, the next one might get us. But I just have there are differences between locations with respect to how bad Omicron is hitting them. And the ones that are doing the worst have had very low community virus activity with Delta in the previous 2 to 3 months. And we were a little bit different than that. We had a really dramatic Delta wave, and I have a feeling that's gonna protect us a little bit from this wave. And that's not to say, oh, thank goodness we had a high Delta wave. That's not the key here.
Yeah.
We sort of paid our dues. Unfortunately, a lot of people died during that wave. I think the places that are paying their dues now with Omicron, they may end up doing better overall because Omicron is a little bit less severe. But they're still going to be suffering because of exhausting their medical resources and full hospitals and that sort of thing.
It is frustrating, Doc, when you have the governor on one side saying prepare for a super typhoon, and then you see the high number of cases, and you look around the world and see what's going on with Omicron. But then, when it comes to measures, protocols, restrictions, we don't really change anything. So I know you had said that there's kind of this the two schools, right, where, oh my God, zero COVID versus, let her rip. So where should we be in terms of preparing for a surge that's pretty much already here? Because I feel like, are we going to do nothing, kind of like what we did with Delta, or we going to do something? And what something do you think would work?
Well, there's so many factors. There's what do you think the people will accept? When is the public outcry going to cause more harm than good? And that can truly happen. It's happened in many places. We're lucky that I think people still mask up outside. I mean, you talk to anybody in the States right now, it's rare to find a city where people are masking the way they are in Guam. So I think just that alone, you have to feel like, okay, we're a big step up from almost anywhere else in the U.S., right? There's financial considerations. There are real harms to businesses, and that's whether there's restrictions or not. I've had 2 or 3 staff today calling in asking, what should I do? I've got this contact, and this is only going to get worse. I mean, people are going to be saying, okay, now I've got 2 or 3 people sick in the family. What should I do? We're going to be looking at closing shop, canceling clinic if we have too many people that are calling out. So whether or not, again, because the virus is so transmissible, whether or not we make a lot of big policy changes, these things are going to happen. So the nature of the virus, I think, also is an important consideration. How useful are going to be changing little details of policy. I just, unfortunately, I don't feel like they're going to make big differences. I mean, with a virus this transmissible, you'd have to pretty much do something South Korea style or China style to really have a tremendous impact. And we just don't have the tolerance for that level of lockdown in Guam. So I think doing things like preventing super spreader surges, encouraging people to wear quality masks correctly in places where they're going to be around, and just simply changing your activities, which people are doing already, by the way. They see these cases and they're already making some even unconscious behavioral changes to try to protect themselves. But just to support that endeavor and to encourage people that are interested in taking those precautions, yeah, go ahead. It is you've got to think about the people that are most at risk here, and gosh, please get boosted. I mean, it really, there's no question that it helps. There's no question. So encouraging boosting, again, reaching out to those populations that are most at risk, and preventing super spreader events that might decrease the overall viral burden and overall case numbers. I think those are the practical things that we can be doing.
Doc, what about the rapid engagement team, right? So this was a team out of public health, kind of like their special forces, a SWAT team, if you will, and they would go into these areas, low income, maybe areas where, they would just go into these areas and it was testing, right? And then I think they did a couple of vaccinations, but with the booster numbers so low, in your opinion, what can we do to not just increase awareness, but to also increase the number of jabs given?
I wish I had an answer to that, Chris. I really don't know. I think I think what they've done is a good start, but engaging with these communities and being relentless on it too. Just continuing those efforts, I think, is the key. And trying new things. I don't know. I think there were times when I would see a lot of commercials and in Chuukese, for example, on the radio and on TV, and continuing to try to reach out to those communities through the avenues that have worked in the past. But being relentless about it. I mean, just continue to try and not give up on that, because that's probably where a lot of our deaths are still gonna come from, is the unvaccinated.
Right. I think it's a tough question, but there are some pretty simple answers. The messaging has always kind of been very difficult during this pandemic, like this "don't wait until it's too late." I thought this was so crucial, and we ran it for about a couple weeks, and then it kind of went away, right? But messages like this, messages like "get your booster," I mean, in a perfect world, I want to hear it everywhere. I want to hear it in the loudspeaker where they test the Typhoon sirens. I want to hear it nonstop on the radio. I want to turn on the TV and I want to see people telling me to go get my booster, or people saying, "Hey, don't wait until it's too late." So this messaging, right, it's been really inconsistent, but do you think it's crucial now more than ever to kind of stand up consistent messaging that stays in place through these lulls and these hotspots that we're going through?
Yeah, I think so, but it's also nuanced because, there is a psychological component here where, I think if you just blast a message, people are going to tune it out too. So maybe that's not the right way to do it. I don't know. I mean, you got to, I think it has to be creative. It has to be and designed in a way that it's going to reach somebody in a way that they're going to internalize it and say, okay, I get that, versus just trying to hammer it down everybody's throat, or you can see the backlash for trying to mandate these types of things. I mean, that would be the total extreme to say we're going to mandate boosters. If you've been over 5 months from your last dose, you're going to have to get it. And I mean, you can see the backlash that would happen among certain groups, and and then these groups that consider this a personal affront to their freedoms, to mandate. They're very vocal, and they do have an effect on others that are sort of more on the fence, and they're going to hear the message and say, yeah, there's some credibility to that. Maybe I'm not going to let them tell me what to do, no matter what the data says, So I don't think it's as simple as just putting the message everywhere. Unfortunately, I think it takes a lot more thought in the approach and how that message comes across and the avenues that you take. But in the absence, messaging is better than no messaging, right? And I'd rather have it out there than not at all. So.
Right. 18 to 39 demographic, Doc. The presentation from Dr. Ann yesterday shows that this age group continues to drive infections. How do we reach these knuckleheads?
Well, I don't know what what avenues they're using to get their information. Do you know if a lot of them are watching your show, that demographic, or is it more of an older group?
I would say it skews a little older, and I think that the 18 to 39, they're very on the social media. That's like where they get.
And it's really interesting if you probably if you look at a Facebook post that's posted by one of the media outlets, like literally 90 to 95% of the comments are from a very extremist view. That's, I think, a minority of people. I mean, I think it's clear that the majority of people think that the vaccines work and they're effective and that masking is worthwhile. But 90 to 95% of the comments on there are very negative about vaccination and about they're very conspiracy oriented. And that's just astounding to me. And I don't know, maybe that makes people just tune out and not want to engage in the conversation, because you post something there that is, would be seen as, okay, we're in this together. Let's do this, Guam. You get attacked by this group. And maybe they feel the same way, but it doesn't look like that. It looks like most of the comments are all very one-sided. But perhaps for this demographic, they just aren't engaged because they hear this very vocal, extreme, conspiracy view that just has made them say, throw up your hands again. This isn't that bad. I'm not going to worry about it. Maybe if long COVID turns out to be not a big deal, then maybe that's not a terrible view to take either in the long run. But I think there's still so much that we still need to learn about this virus, and it's definitely different than previous viruses. But I don't know, Chris. Again, these are one of the big challenges of this pandemic is how to reach the group that seems to be contributing most to the surge right now. Again, that extremist view says let her rip, let it get out there, because absolutely, thank goodness that it's Omicron and not Delta that is as transmissible. I mean, we could have seen 2 to 3 times the number of deaths if Delta was as transmissible. So if you're going to have a virus that more easily rips through the community, thank goodness it's one that's a little bit less virulent and one that came after we've already been able to vaccinate a lot of people. So there's that side of the conversation too.
Well, Doc, we just got a comment that I think sums up a whole lot of this 18 to 39 nonsense from Huey. I get my medical advice from TikTok. There you go. All right, Doc, thank you.
Would you consider that board certified medical advice doctor?
Hey, there's some good stuff on TikTok though.
I'm not hating. I'm just
Doc, do you follow Dr. Glockum Flockum or something? It's
Oh yeah. He's an ophthalmologist, so of course I'm a fan.
Oh, that's right.
And
there you
a
go.
comedian. Yeah.
All right.
I don't know. I hope that comment was tongue in cheek, but honestly,
it was. I hope so too. Doc, I love having you on. I feel like you're very reasonable, right? And you're not a wacko. I sincerely believe that you're coming from a place where you just don't want to. And I talked with a friend of mine yesterday because some of your colleagues, it's like their center is not, do no harm. And so the doctors that we get on here, I feel like they're really coming from a place where they just don't want anyone to get hurt, which, at the end of the day should be what it's all about. So really appreciate you coming on here and just giving us your analysis in a very reasonable, moderate and measured way. Really, I can't tell you how valuable we find your time.
Thanks a lot, Chris. I appreciate that. And again, thanks to all you guys and what you do over there. And Happy New Year.
Right on.
Happy New Year, man.
See you on the other side, Doc.
All right.
Not that other side. I meant the other side of this surge.
Maybe we'll see you on TikTok. You never know.
Easy way.
No time.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody got time for that, Jay.
I actually did want to be Dr. Pimple Popper, but I heard that name's taken already. So.
It's 8 o'clock. We're KUAM FM. I got you, Guam. It is Friday, January 7th. We're about to go in on the news. We did have some Huey comments, jokes. Stay safe and listen to the medical professionals.
There you go.
Wash your hands and wear your mask. So the takeaways there from the doc, and this is where I think it gets really iffy for me, not with Dr. Lombard, but because it is, right? They're saying that it's less severe than Delta. And so people hear that and they're like, well, it's less severe than Delta, right?
And they don't hear the rest of the sentence that comes after that. It's like they stop at that part.
Right. And so, I guess it is less severe than Delta, but it could be pretty severe for a lot of people in our island community, which, again, it just goes back to where we were at the beginning. We got to protect those who are vulnerable and those who wouldn't do so well if they did get sick.
And we don't have an unlimited number of beds in the hospital. Yeah. With the hospitals that we do have, too, it's, it can very somewhat easily become overwhelmed, and that is the major concern.
So good morning. It's 8 o'clock. You ready? We're going to jump over to KUAM TV. We got the news. We got Maria Pangilinan. We're going to talk about the election. Yep, as the packets are ready for pickup here on Guam. We're KUAM FM. We got Guam on the breeze. KUAM TV. Fix yourself. Here we come. Good morning. It's 8:01, Friday, January 7th, first Friday of 2022.
Good morning, everybody. Now may I just say, because I know Dr. Lombard's gained a lot of fans and people that appreciate his data analysis from the show. If you guys like what you see, make sure to follow Dr. Lombard. He's at Peter Lombard on Twitter and everything like that. And he's always, retweeting. And he's not one of those people like a serial retweeter and everything like that. He shares interesting posts and then, kind of adds a little insight, a little context about what it is and everything like that. Talks a lot with people in his line of work too and everything. It's fascinating stuff to follow.
It's great. I love, his message is I really feel like it's just very responsible, and it's kind of right down the middle, you know what I mean?
And it's also funny because, we led that interview talking about, his fandom for his alma mater because he went to the Naval Academy.
Yeah, you led that interview talking about
when it's football season, he is all in. he's got really good sports insight too. He's an Olympian, so, he's athlete of the highest caliber.
Yeah. It's 8:02, guys. We're brought to you by Pacific Points, Cabo Enterprises, IT&E, and Jack in the Box. It is Friday. We always do Feed Me Fridays. We got a sneak peek of the One Micronesia podcast, Sports Link with Dave Delgado. All on the way, right here on the link. Good morning. So Dr. Lombard's takeaway, I think one of the key ones there was he said, let's go ahead and self-mitigate potential super spreader events. And what is a super spreader event, guys? It's an event where you have a bunch of different people from different households coming together and exposing themselves. That didn't sound right. Coming together and, eating, drinking with the masks off. That's where they say it happens. And with Omicron, it's supposed to be 5 billion times more infectious than Delta. And so while you might have been able to break bread with somebody and share a meal and walk away unscathed, with Omicron here on the island, I don't think that's going to happen. It's pretty much seems like a guarantee. Dr. Lombard said double mask. Yeah, so that's it. If you guys are planning on having a big gathering, especially where a bunch of different people are coming together, then maybe postpone it for a couple weeks.
And I saw something online because I know that's funny you bring that up because some people say double mask, with the kind of over-the-counter mask we can get. Other people say there's a specific type of surgical mask.
Yeah, the N95.
Is that specifically surgical though? Because it's a surgical one that they said does a really that's.
I don't know if
the
it's
best
specifically, but it's the one they say. It's got the one, the metal band. Yeah.
Yeah, but like it's
It's
got,
the
like,
one you can't
all the-
breathe in, Jay. That's the one. You know what I mean? The super.
Well.
Yeah.
Better to not breathe that way than not breathe the other way. if
Yeah,
you have
forever.
COVID.
I got it. Good morning. It's 8:04. You want to do the news?
Absolutely.
Let's go ahead and do the news then. From the KUAM news team, in for Sabrina Salas, Matt Tenine. We've also got Tomas Maglotnia coming up in a bit on the show with your CNMI regional update from the KUAM news team with the very latest on this Friday morning. Good morning, my friend. Jason Salas, ladies and gentlemen.
Good morning, and good morning, everybody out there. The number you want to know this morning, if you pay attention to all of the news and you want to have one metric and take away 263, my friends, that is the number of positive COVID cases that were confirmed from Wednesday's 1,647 gathered samples. The island's CAR score has once again, for the fourth straight day, skyrocketed. It was 37.9 yesterday. This morning, it is 65. Let that sink in. 37.9 to 65, with 263 new positive cases having been confirmed yesterday out of 1,647 gathered samples. That is a positivity rate of roughly 16%. So it is going up, the number of people who are popping positive. 13 island residents have been hospitalized, 9 of them vaccinated, 4 of them unvaccinated. 10 positives are receiving treatment at the Guam Memorial Hospital in Tamuning. Up here in Dedido at GRMC, 3 people were admitted. As of January 5th, over 130,000 of our island's eligible population is fully vaccinated. From the Department of Education, 9 new positive cases involving students and 2 cases involving staffers were confirmed. The breakdown is as such. CL Titano Elementary School had a pair of cases. JQ San Miguel, FB Leon Guerrero Middle School, JFK, and Teton High School all had a single case. And George Washington High School in Minginlao had 3 cases. Those campuses, respectively, have been disinfected to ensure schools are ready for regular hours of operation today. So those campuses are safe and sanitized. All right, let's take a look at your news stories now, as we're going to go to a story about the private sector right now, as we featured our friend Mary Rhodes yesterday, the president of the Guam Hotel and Restaurant Association, as she was saying that more companies have already signed up for the LEAP program than first projected. The strong interest in the initiative is another glaring indication of just how hard the pandemic has hit businesses, especially those in Guam's critical tourism industry.
We know a lot of businesses have been hurting. And with the challenges of even tourism being extended out through summer at this point, with airlines not coming to Guam, I know that businesses are going to be in further need. And so we can only be able to display that or to show, need for that if we have an overwhelming response. So
the LEAP program offers a forgivable loan. It becomes a grant if certain criteria are met, such as keeping employees or hiring new ones. Rhodes urges every business that believes it can qualify to apply.
Right now, we have 819 companies that have applied thus far. The award is up to, I believe, $300,000. They were considering possibly $500,000, but that was based on expecting 600 companies to apply. And so I know that they reconsidered that number because of the sheer size of the number of possible applicants.
The governor allocated $25 million of her American Rescue Plan funds for the LEAP program, and the legislature matched it with money from the general fund. Separately, the GHRA president also sought to clear up some confusion. She says restaurants are still allowed to operate at 100% capacity indoors, but any one group cannot exceed the 25-person limit.
But that doesn't mean that the restaurant or hotel needs to limit everybody, because they can have multiple reservations as long as those reservations aren't related to each other, where you're trying to bypass the maximum of 25 per group. Unfortunately for the businesses, they've had a very hard time really managing all of this, because people will try to make different reservations and work around the guideline. And so it's very difficult to police something where public health themselves have a hard time policing.
Rhodes is appealing to restaurant goers to cooperate. Businesses, she says, are just trying to comply with what the government has mandated. For Guam's News Network, I'm Nestor Lecanto.
Getting back to coronavirus headlines, over the past 2 days, Guam is seeing close to 400 COVID cases, and with those additional ones today, we're nearing somewhere in the range of approaching 700. Yesterday's press briefing by Public Health shed light on what could be the reason for such a high number, as well as an update on booster eligibility for youngsters in our island community ages 12 to 15. Here's more with Daniel Perez.
We were getting really low in November, late November. Here's Thanksgiving. We see a slight bump after Thanksgiving that weekend. And then we remain low until we reach Christmas. And it's readily visible, the spike in cases, particularly after that weekend of Christmas weekend. And then, of course, now after New Year's, we're seeing a definite spike.
Territorial epidemiologist Dr. Ann Pobutsky breaking down the recent spike in cases. Dr. Pobutsky added that the island is now seeing 200 cases a day, led by the 18 to 39 age group. When asked if Omicron or the holiday gatherings are the driving force,
it's possible that it's both, but we don't have any evidence of Omicron. The last samples we just got in were up through December 16th, and they were all sublineages of Delta. From the samples we sent. And so it could be both, but we don't have any evidence that Omicron is here yet. We just are definitely seeing after Christmas spike and after holiday spike.
With the sudden spike in cases, the FDA and CDC gave the green light to administer boosters to kids 12 to 15 years of age, which Guam will implement today, according to Public Health Interim Chief Medical Officer Dr. Bob Leon Guerrero. Daniel Perez reporting for Guam's News Network. News Network.
And staying with Daniel's coverage of yesterday's announcements by the Department of Public Health and Social Services, a health disparity survey is set to begin throughout the island starting next month. Once again, here's Daniel.
The Department of Public Health and Social Services, the Research Corporation of the University of Guam, in partnership with the Mayor's Council of Guam, will be conducting a health disparity survey starting in February. According to Dr. Ann Pobutsky, a territorial epidemiologist for public health who appeared before the MCOG on Wednesday, the survey is to be conducted island-wide, from small to big populations within villages, which is anticipated to go on for the whole year. For example, it will start with Humatek and conclude in Dededo. The purpose of the survey is to locate all who are high risk and identify the hard-to-reach populations. Dr. Pobutsky stated, quote, "Available data shows that the COVID-19 pandemic affects vulnerable or high-risk populations on Guam like Chukis, Pohnpeians, other Micronesians, as well as our low-income Chamorro and Filipino population are getting and dying of COVID," end quote. Public health needs assistance from village mayors in identifying island-wide geographic areas, places, apartment buildings, and homes with at-risk populations. During a presentation to the MCOG at their monthly meeting, Dr. Pobutsky shared what residents can expect to see in the survey, which includes an incentive.
We're not using any names on the survey. It is anonymous. We do ask for a household contact for each household so that we can provide them with gas coupons. If they complete the surveys, they'll get $20 worth of gas coupons. And we're asking about the age, sex, and ethnicity of all household members, school, job, employment, and we're asking what happened during 2020 and 2021. We also want to see how families have coped during COVID, especially if they're at-risk populations.
The survey is funded by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, or CDC. Dr. Pobutsky noted all U.S. states are getting health disparity grants because their findings show ethnic minorities on the mainland and disproportionate populations are more likely to get sick and die from COVID-19. Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Jonah Gancharfris.
All right, we're going to go now to our Chris Barnett, who continues his investigative reporting on the cockfighting issue on Guam, as he had Wayne Pacelli, the chief of the Animus Wellness Action Organization, on this show yesterday, who said that they have cockfighters on the run and that there's more trouble on the way, he projects, for those who violate the federal ban on fighting birds.
Wayne Pacelli is not going to stop. The head of Animal Wellness Action has been pleading with the governor to stop turning a blind eye to illegal cockfights on Guam, but it looks like his pleas have fallen on deaf ears. Pacelli staked out the Dededo Game Club after a schedule of cockfights for the new year went viral on WhatsApp. He says the group sent drones up over the weekend and did see activity at the Dome, but he also says he's gotten tips that cockfighters are fleeing to more secret locations.
I've got two very solid tips about cockfighting venues in Gigo. And we are, if it's the Dome, we want to have eyes on it. If it's the other venues throughout the territory, we want to have eyes on it there.
AWA is also offering rewards for information about illegal cockfights or animal cruelty. Pacelli says he's in contact with federal law enforcement officials and will be forwarding information to them relative to a smoking gun he says he was able to obtain.
Somebody sent us footage from a cockfight, and we are in the process of identifying the individuals there. And I think it's going to be startling when we release the details. We've got some information already.
Some senators have raised concerns about cocking on Guam, to include Senator Sabina Perez. Senator Perez telling KUAM News 2022 might be the time to revisit the local law that makes cockfighting legal despite a federal law to the contrary. Senator Joanne Brown also brought up the unregulated and unchecked large-scale gambling associated with cockfighting after Reventax Deputy Director Marie Lazama told KUAM DRT has no enforcement or collection role when it comes to cockfighting cash. Pacelli, meanwhile, is again asking island residents to say something if they see something.
I want to ask all of your listeners, if you do have information for us on illegal acts of animal cruelty, email us at animalcrueltytips@animalwellnessaction.org. That's animalcrueltytips@animalwellnessaction.org. We will follow up on every one of them.
For Guam's News Network, Chris Barnett reports.
We got some stories about the island's legal system and court system for you with Tyler Matanani. And first, he reports that Orlando Hadley has been sentenced to 6 years for breaking into the home of his former girlfriend. Here's Ty.
6 years. That's how much 37-year-old Orlando Hadley will serve for breaking into the home of his ex-girlfriend and threatening to fight her boyfriend. Defense counsel William Bischoff asked for the minimum sentence of 5 years, arguing that no actual violence occurred and that Hadley exited the home when the woman pushed him out. Quote, "He had a key to the victim's bedroom. He thought he was welcome there, and when he opened the bedroom and saw her new boyfriend, he was shocked." Hadley apologized for his actions and asked for the court to show mercy and leniency. However, prosecuting attorney Jeremiah Luther argued that the court had shown Hadley mercy when he was offered a furlough in a 2017 case for sexual assault against a minor. There was a warrant for Hadley's arrest during the time of the incident for failing to turn himself in for the previous case. Quote, "Repeatedly, this defendant has tried to manipulate the system and asked for mercy and leniency and has continued to abuse it. This is not some lovesick, harmless individual," said Luther. He asked for the maximum sentence of 10 years to run consecutively with the 2017 case. Judge Arthur Barcenas noted that the court had struggled with separating the current case and the severity of the 2017 case, however noted that his failure to obey court orders and self-surrender was an aggravating factor to consider. The court also noted that he attempted to obstruct the justice system when he gave officers a false name during his arrest. Altogether, he will serve 6 years in prison for burglary, criminal trespass, and harassment. He will be eligible for parole after 5 years and will serve a special parole term of 3 years. The sentence will run concurrent to his 2017 case with credit for time served. For Guam's News Network, I'm Tyler Matanani.
Also from Tyler, a story about Guam's elected Attorney General as leaving Camacho is leading the charge to educate Guamanians to recognize the signs and what to do if you should come across instances of human trafficking.
It's the start of a new year, a time to take action, and most importantly, become more educated and aware of the threats that have hidden within society for centuries. This January marks the 12th annual National Slavery and Human Trafficking Prevention Month, and the Office of the Attorney General, along with several other community partners, are working on educating individuals on identifying and responding to human trafficking. Attorney General Levin Camacho explains how their office focuses on what's known as the 3 Ps.
Prevention of crime, the protection of victims, and the prosecution of criminals when warranted.
So whether we're talking about human trafficking, whether we're talking about stalking, we have law enforcement component, we have our victim service providers who are there to assist victims of crime, and we also have outreach.
The community is invited to a series of events that will be occurring throughout the month of January that will raise awareness on the issue. A virtual proclamation signing and legislative resolution will be held this Friday at 10:30 a.m. The Zoom link can be accessed at guamcoalition.org. Guam Coalition Against Sexual Assault and Family Violence Executive Director Cynthia Cabot.
We really don't have the statistics to show that it occurs, but we know it is in our community, and I think that lends itself into the importance of raising awareness.
The GCASAFV will also host an outreach event at the Micronesia Mall on January 22nd at 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. According to the U.S. Department of State, trafficking in persons, also known as modern slavery or human trafficking, includes both forced labor and sex trafficking. A.G. Camacho says an issue that doesn't get enough attention is labor trafficking.
And we've seen both in Guam and also with our neighbors to the north, a resurgence of this type of thing where you're bringing in particular foreign laborers, and then you're potentially holding their immigration documents, you're not giving them pay, or you're deducting wages from them for things such as rent. So we just need to make sure that people are aware of the resources.
For more information on the resources and agencies available for victims, visit the online directory at pacificregionresources.org. Visit oag.guam.org/live or contact the hotline at 671-475-0400.
There's help out there. There are a lot of folks that are willing and able to assist.
Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Tyler Matinani.
All right, thank you so much, Tyler. And thank you to our friends at Pacific Points who bring you your link updates each and every day right here on the show. Speaking of traditions right here on the link, we bring in Uncle King Concepcion now for News in Chamorro, sponsored by First Hawaiian Bank.
Buenos nopades to get some to be Chamorro ni KUAM News. Presenta ni Familian Mizo gi First Hawaiian Bank. Iposisyon niya sa fakto magigwahan na di omicron para mapapara siya ay Departamentong Salud Publiko dan Serbisyon Sosyal sa mamaningkarga niya di COVID antiviral na piduras sa kumumatoy omicron sempre residente siya gwini ufan maamti. Public Health Interim Chief Medical Officer si Dr. Bob Leon Guerrero asang na ipidras sa mas efektibo kontra Omicron kunay monoclonal antibody therapy. Kanyang mas na podedso na pidras sa maulegya aji sa remisis BMAP sa maninatin ni COVID may gaigwihin na infection sa Delta variant. Basa sunto, nakonfirma ni KUAM na si Sel Babauta harasayin kay posisyon niya no Executive Manager para Guam Regional Transit Authority destidiaw unagi Enero. Kasangani si Babauta ay KUAM nadyo na pumaragwi sa poderasyon ni salud niya losan malago na parobiragwi tati kung maregla sinon niya. Kailangan na san malago gino-continue ang masisti aji sa munisisita na tao ay mas seguridad dan nakoda na sa bisyon transportasyonan para sa niya para master kalunay na duka no sempre maninis gayon desti tinarsaga sa linibiano ng para salud niya dyan ay nasisti. Desti si Babauta humilui GRTA tras andres na temputati guiza din na tautanya sa San Miguel Matsogi para manamasan ng dalantu azo na serbisyon sa mga na ampo na app no sedi man mamuday para for man request sa serbisyon transportasyon gin na niya cellphone sa man marisisbisiha grand para mas libyano serbisyon GRTA. Ito muna sunto gifinot sa moro para pago na bernes gini KUAM News. Manyusan ni Guam Election Commission na di kandidato na paketi sa parumanahuzong pago na dia siya tigi Enero. At si man malago sa man mapapasin na human nakabala sa G-form requesta para election candidate na packet no siya ma-email gatigi sa hago sa ninayaw mas informasyon sa form siya niyo deputy yung fill out. Para siya mamalago na G-form dupursi, sinunsuli paketi ginuepo na opisina ni Guam Election Commission gi-segundo bibenda gi-Oka building gi-Zatamuning. I-GEC sa parumanagwalo kayo na candidate na seminar tos bahay gi-mes desti Enero hasta Junio na mes. At si man malago para formalago para kandidato dyan niya campaign treasurer sa man maeepog na ma-attendi adyo na seminar siya. Kulantisan magay na kampo para adyo pas aga gi-GEC gi-671 477 971 para resurface sa gamo gi-seminar. Para Guam News Network, Guam Ken Concepcion. Yasuto gifinot sa moro sa presenta sa ninafatto ni Familian Mizo gi First Hawaiian Bank.
Say hello to the First Hawaiian Bank mobile app. Got a question about your finances? You've come to the right place. Bring all your accounts together even those that aren't with us, and see the big picture, right down to the smallest detail. Unlock powerful tools like Insights and Money Map that help you save time and take control of your finances. When you connect accounts with the First Hawaiian Bank mobile app, it all starts with yes.
Hey, good morning. It's 8:24, Friday, January 7th. We're brought to you by Pacific Points, Cabo Enterprises, ITE, and Jack in the Box. Marianas Irrigation and Landscape, proud to present Sports Link with Dave Delgado from the KUAM sports team. Marianas Irrigation and Landscape, your Shindaiwa and Echo Superstore, offering everyday low prices on bush cutters, chainsaws, power washers, generators, and a whole lot more. They're also offering maintenance and repair services. Oh, thank you. Visit Marianas Irrigation and Landscape in Barragata along Army Drive between Submarina and Besta Market. Call 735-7446 for more info. Now shipping to surrounding islands. And again, Marianas Irrigation and Landscape proud to present Sports Link with Dave Delgado from the KUAM sports team.
Sports Link is brought to you by Marianas Irrigation and Landscape.
Academy Cougars basketball player Mia Taitano made it official by signing her letter of intent to play basketball for Vanguard University. Mia signed at the school's campus in front of her parents, coaches, and teammates.
Being able to sign now is really a blessing because I don't really have to worry about whether or how my future looks, but it does give me the motivation to continue to work hard knowing what's next. My parents made a lot of sacrifices for me to go out there, and they always push me to dream big and don't sell myself short.
Now for some McDonald's High School Basketball Classic highlights from the jungle. Islanders player Mark Morales drains the corner three. Guam High down 31-27 at the half. Trayden Rosario cross-court pass to Cameron Brantley. Brantley goes through the lane for 2 of his 12 points here. Guam High trying to avoid the backcourt violation. Steal by Hendrix De Fiesta, who drives and gets the left-handed finish to go for 2 points. Panthers make it a game as time was winding down. Rosario off on the shot. Teammate Martin Walker crashes the boards and takes it right back up for the putback. Kyle Watanabe with the score off the steal. JFK started to press up on the Panthers ball handlers. Kirsten Guzman with the assist to Zapanta for the go-ahead 3. Another costly turnover by the Panthers. Justin Lazama regains possession and finds De Fiesta, who gets the ball poked away. Carl Vinca at the right place at the right time. Vinca scored 10 points. Islanders won 60-58. ITE, KUAM Sports, and Clutch will be hosting the Rising Stars high school football game this Sunday, January 9th at the GW Field. Before that game, there will be a youth football clinic from 12 to 4 in the afternoon for kids ages 10 to 14 years old. Check out guamtime.net to register. Participants will take part in football drills and skills workouts. To finish up the day, players will be split into teams and hit the field for some flag football games. Coaches from the Guam National Youth Football Federation will be on the field helping the young athletes sharpen up their game. The 2022 Rising Stars High School Football Showdown is going down this Sunday, January 9th at the GW Field. Guam's top freshman and sophomore players get a chance to suit up one last time. The game is dedicated to the players who missed out on their last youth football season.
Out of all these years I've been coaching, if you give a kid a little incentive, like how to play the sport, or at least a little taste of a game, then you see that their motivation will increase. They'll do more running, they'll do more working out, they'll try to be more attentive. Their attention span grows bigger and bigger and bigger. Just in the fact of just letting them play one more game or one more play, that really builds a lot of character on a player.
Teaming up for the Rising Stars will be FD Guam High Simon Sanchez and Teason High representing Team Phenoms. Southern High, GW, JFK, and Ukudu will represent Team Thrashers. Kickoff for the inaugural Rising Stars High School Football Showdown is scheduled for 6:30 at the GW Field.
I just want to play one last game because, my youth years, I could have played my last year in Matua, but it was canceled because of COVID-19. And yeah, I was just really excited.
I hated how we missed our
my last season for youth and sucked so bad.
Yeah, we're making new friends. Some of these guys, I've seen them on the field. Now to play with them is pretty fun. Yeah.
Tickets for the game are available on guamtime.net. Gates will open at 5:30. Catch the live stream Sunday 6:30 p.m. on KUAM TV8, also streaming on KUAM's Facebook page. In other news, the Guam Football Association Executive Committee recently approved the appointment of Joe Cepeda as the organization's new General Secretary, effective January 2022. Guam Football Association has long been one of the top sports organizations in Guam, and in the time I've spent in the sport, from coaching at the grassroots level to serving as GFA's vice president, the organization has grown. Cepeda said, "I look forward to working directly with the team at GFA, as well as with other football stakeholders in my new role as General Secretary." Players hitting the field in this weekend's Rising Stars football game are excited to be suiting back up. The high school football showdown kicks off Sunday, January 9th at the GW Field.
Unfortunately, due to COVID, we didn't have the opportunity for these boys to play the last couple of years, so this is a perfect opportunity for them to come out and show their skill set and what they're made of with their true peers. I know some of the guys, they played varsity football, but again, this is an opportunity to play with their true peers, which hopefully will help their confidence and instill into them that they really can play this game at a higher level.
Fans can get tickets for the game at guamtime.net.
The All-Star game, those are just the juniors, seniors. Sometimes sophomore and freshmen fall under the radar, and they just never get shown their skill.
I'm glad that my work these past few months have been recognized and that I get the opportunity to show that I've really grown over the season.
I'm excited for the upcoming game because we didn't get to play the last season, so we couldn't show who's going to be great and who's getting better and stuff like that. So it's finally an opportunity to show.
I think it's another opportunity to make more friends and to show the whole league that underclassmen are better players too.
One of the things that we look at here is this group actually missed a year of football development. They missed that. So anytime you have a chance to get back some of that with various coaches, like just here on this field, we have coaches from 4 different teams who are here. And so anytime you get a chance to recoup some of the skills that you lost in real-time football, you're going to come out a better player.
Gates will open at 5:30 with kickoff scheduled for 6:30. Repping the Phenom squad will be FD, Guam High, Sanchez, and Teason High. Catch the live stream this Sunday at 6:30 on KUAM TV8, also streaming on KUAM's Facebook page. In programming news, Monday, January 10th at 4 in the morning, NFL on CBS, KUAM TV 11, the Pittsburgh Steelers at Baltimore Ravens. Also on Monday, January 10th at 11:20 in the morning, NBC Sunday Night Football on KUAM TV 8, the Los Angeles Chargers at Las Vegas Raiders.
SportsLink is brought to you by Mariana's Irrigation and Landscape.
Let us know what's up on our KOM News WhatsApp tip line at 671-727-0094. Share information about what's happening in your town, on Guam or the CNMI, and what you want us to know. Reach us on WhatsApp at 671-727-0094.
Do you feel like you're missing out on something? Make life more rewarding with Pacific Points. Earn and redeem points for bill rebates and free load at IT&E, discounts on fuel at Shell, vouchers at Foodies, and United Mileage Plus miles. You can even pay with Pacific Points at IT&E, Shell, and Foodies. Pacific Points. Do more, get more.
GU Self-Storage, conveniently located near the Harmon McDonald's. We offer affordable rates, online payments, and auto bill pay for your convenience. Plus gate access daily from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. Call us today at 648-7867 for more information.
Get the job done the right way by getting the right stuff at East West Rental Center. With years of experience helping builders, we definitely got what you need. Call 646-1463 or visit us in Upper Tumon. Open Monday to Saturday from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. and on Sundays from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Mariana's Irrigation and Landscape Superstore. Stop on by and visit our showroom today. We offer everyday low prices on all major outdoor power equipment like bush cutters, chainsaw, power washer, generators, and more. Need service, repair, maintenance? Well, check out Guam's best superstore only at Mariana's Irrigation and Landscape, located in Barragata along Army Drive between Submarina and Besta Market. Call 735-7446 for more information. Now shipping to surrounding islands. Mariana's Irrigation and Landscape Superstore.
I didn't get screened because I was just afraid of it.
I procrastinated.
I didn't have any symptoms.
I didn't have insurance.
I didn't want to know.
There were several services that was available to me.
I got a mammogram.
Colonoscopy.
I know in my heart that early detection saved my life.
And I just tell people all the time, please go get screened.
This season, KUAM Communications is ready to go with more games, more championships, and more sports specials guaranteed to bring out the fan in you. Don't miss a minute of gameplay from NBC on KUAM TV8 or from CBS on KUAM TV11. We're bringing you all the action and excitement brought to you locally by Mariana's Irrigation and Landscape and Docomo Pacific.
We know you're tired of hearing about COVID-19. Some of you are probably wondering whether this is ever going to end. However long it takes, we all have to do our part, including our children, to hold the line. You can protect yourself and your family by getting vaccinated.
And if you're already vaccinated, don't let your guard down because you can still give and get COVID-19. And if you're not vaccinated, remember that if you catch the virus, you could suffer more severe complications. At the end of the day, it's the choices we make to protect ourselves, our families, and our community that will control the spread.
We know it sounds repetitive at this point, but again, wash your hands, watch your distance, and wear your mask.
Together, we have to hold the line.
See what's on TV tonight with schedules, network news and notes, local promotions and giveaways on KUAM Communications social media pages. Like and follow us on Facebook or Instagram now for all the latest and never miss out. The world of television is more exciting than ever. Don't miss a minute of special presentations from NBC on KUAM TV8 or from CBS on KUAM TV11. Every month, we'll bring you the fun and excitement of award shows and red carpet moments, special series presentations, and other great network programs. Brought to you locally by King's Restaurant, Ruby Tuesday Guam, and Docomo Pacific, giving you more reasons to tune in and turn on. Fall in love with TV again with the best from KUAM Communications.
Take in the panoramic beauty of our island each Sunday on the KUAM News Instagram with Scenic Sundays. Scroll through the natural beauty of the island on display. Scenic Sundays on the KUAM News Instagram is brought to you by Addis Trust and Investment, Location, Service, Trust, and Haagen-Dazs Shops Guam, where every day is made extraordinary.
Listen, watch, and learn from the daily Tomorrow News updates from KUAM News. Catch them on the link during the 8 o'clock hour, streaming online on Isla Radio, or on the KUAM News YouTube channel for your convenience. Tune in and stay informed, all while preserving our precious culture through the daily use of our native Chamorro language. Tomorrow News updates are brought to you by your familia at First Hawaiian Bank.
Pacific Matters is a half-hour news, culture, and lifestyle show focused on issues that impact Guam, the Northern Mariana Islands, and the larger Pacific region. Join Tomas Magonia every Monday to discuss politics, trends, and take a deep dive into the issues changing our island home, because what happens in the Pacific matters.
Join KUAM every Wednesday on Primetime for Inside Business. It's our new weekly segment featuring the struggle of Guam's businesses during this global pandemic. We'll hear from industry leaders about the difficult decisions they were forced to make to implement cutoffs, layoffs, and shorten hours just to survive. It's the other side effect of COVID, the island's economic crisis. We'll also feature new businesses that managed to open and thrive during these challenging times. It's Inside Business every Wednesday on KUAM News Primetime.
People laughing, having fun. There's room for everyone. Forget the TV, hit the road, cause we ain't done. Laddie stones, yeah, and them coconut trees, plus the finest dang women that you'll ever meet. Here on Guam, there's a difference you see between that stateside life and that island heat. So let's go to Mumbai, where the girls pass by all day. You can see them on the sand where they lay.
Hey, good morning.
Get toasted by the sun.
Yeah, it's Cello, Big Ben, and Galta. Can we pop up that picture? I actually heard from keep you guys posted. I heard from the mom. Ben is awake in the hospital. Actually messaged me. And they sent a picture. They did a video call, which I missed because I was on the toilet this morning. And it was one of those, like, it was just like Ben and his mom, fine, whatever. But it was like Ben's mom and then like 7 other people. I didn't know if they were ready for that. And I didn't know what kind of call it was, too. But it was a good news call, okay? I think they're also going to be trying to work on a GoFundMe that we'll be sure to put on blast when they do get that up. But Ben, we do have a picture of Ben. Do we do? Right. If you look at this, I don't know how we're going to post it, but he's up in the corner. You see this? He's up in the upper right-hand corner of this picture, and it's just a screenshot of a live video call, just to show you guys that he's up and at 'em, and we're just continuing to pray. You guys, your prayers worked. Just continuing to pray for his speedy recovery. Big Ben Galta. It's 8:41, Friday, January 7th, right here on the link, brought to you by Pacific Points, Calvo Enterprises, ITNE, and Jack in the Box. My friend John's here in the comments. I thought only two-faced people need double masks. It's interesting. He has a comment here. When I'm collecting PCR samples, because I think he's EMT or something, I'm required to wear an N95 mask, but you have to be fit tested following OSHA guidelines. That's actually true. My son worked for a little bit at the public health lab, and I remember when he got hired for that summer internship thing.
Yeah.
He actually had to go in and get fitted for the mask. What they do is they fit it, and then they spray the solution, and any like gaps where it goes in, they give you like a different size mask. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. We also had Dr. Peter Lombard on this morning, guys. He gave a really good presentation. The takeaways from him, anyway, was that he doesn't think that there's any one restriction or measure that we could put in place that would just stop the flow of Omicron. We could do things to stem it. And one of the things he said was, hey, avoid super spreader events. Definition of a super spreader event is where you get a bunch of different people from different households coming in, removing the masks. That's where the COVID comes in through your holes on your face. And so that was what he had said. He said do things like that every 3 weeks, right? We could affect the number of positives by
like 20% or so. So, and then he also had talked about the true number of positives, Jay, because they're only doing a limited amount of testing, which is supposed to ramp up next week. But he's always said this during the pandemic: if you test a certain part of the population, you can assume that there are
so many more.
And so he believes that we have thousands of Omicron cases out there. Because remember, it's less severe than Delta, so people who may be boosted or just vaxxed or not could be getting mild symptoms, and maybe with the milder symptoms, you don't feel like you got to go get tested, so you're just going to, finish it out at home or whatever.
Did you ask Dr. Nguyen yesterday when you had him on? I can't recall if should you contract the Omicron variant of coronavirus and everything like that, does that make you immune from that strain from now on? Because I think Tomas was saying something. He might have heard something. It possibly gives you immunity for Omicron and
I
Delta.
can tell you what Dr. Hoa said.
Yeah.
Dr. Hoa said if you've had Delta, you can catch Omicron.
Yeah.
And we've seen that. That's happening a lot. We know people who were sick with Delta up to a few months ago.
I know people that have gotten coronavirus 3 times already.
Right, crazy. And so he said that if you catch Omicron, you should be okay for Delta. But if you catch Delta, then you're still susceptible to Omicron. So it is what it is, guys. But you know what these doctors are looking at is they're looking at the hospitalizations. As long as those continue. And it's kind of weird, right? Because it's like we look at the hospitalizations and we're like, okay, they're low. But in the meantime, it's like lottie-dottie, we like to party. And that's what drives up the hospitalization. So this whole logic of like we're going to sit back and just keep doing what we're doing and then look at the hospitalizations, it's just a little weird for me because it's what we're doing now that drives the infections, right? I mean, that's what happened in the surge. It was pretty hands-off. Oh, hi. Let's go ahead and get in with Tomas Maglotnia here.
Yeah, I was going to say, speak of the aforementioned.
Yeah. Hi, jump in. So Tomas,
fresh off of his assignment way back in the newsroom from covering stuff. Good morning.
Good morning. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday, my friend.
Happy air fryer.
Happy air fryer Friday.
Tomas has got an air fryer.
And Jason, we were talking
You're
about
officially old, Tomas.
A team TikTok air fryer challenge.
Oh, look who's got the bougie mask on.
This is from back in the office.
Is that the N9012?
N94.
Okay, so that's not the N95.
No.
It's not.
No, but you know.
It's the predecessor to the N95.
That's is it? I don't know.
Yeah, well, it's N95.
It's not a 95.
I remember my mom gave me a pack. I got to bring that in. She gave me a pack of masks, and she was like, "Yeah, it's the N95." And I said, "Mom, it says N94." And she goes, "I don't know, N something." Exactly, N something. Bingo. Tomas Maglotnia is our regional correspondent, covering all things CNMI for the KUAM news team. I know we got some daily questioning to do, Tomas, but did you want to go ahead and get into your report for this morning?
Yeah, we actually have some breaking news because we received a copy of the letter that the governor's team sent to the NMI judiciary. If you missed it, it was on our report last night. And so I did want to just share the letter. You might be able to see it on your screen, and I'll just read it in full. Of course, this letter being sent as the ongoing, as the articles of impeachment are expected to be voted on next Wednesday, and then also with the ongoing lawsuit with regards to the governor being held in contempt by the legislature. And so this letter we received is dated December 30th, 2021, sent by Bain's law firm, representing the governor as well. It says, "Dear Mr. Diaz, who's the clerk of the Superior Court, on December 16, Chief Justice Alexandro Castro appointed Timothy Bellas as Judge Pro Tempore in Governor Ralph Torres versus House Standing Committee. In the appointment order, the Chief Justice invited parties to notify the clerk of the Superior Court in writing with no later than 10 days from the date of this order of any good cause or reason why Timothy Bellas should not serve as judge. It was not clear from the order whether such good cause or reason was limited to the grounds for disqualification or whether it was intended to include a broader range of concerns. To be clear, the Governor Torres does not believe any statutory grounds exist that disqualify Judge Bellas. Nevertheless, the governor believes that neither Judge Bellas nor any other or current or former CNMI judge should serve as judge pro tempore in this matter. The CNMI is a small community. There is scarcely a family that does not have ties to the government and a history of close political allegiances, so extensive that these ties that all 5 sitting Superior Court judges have had to disqualify themselves for one reason or another. In light of the highly partisan atmosphere surrounding the governor's ongoing dispute with the committee, the governor believes that no single CNMI judge, current or former, can either be truly insulated from it or, no less important, be perceived by the public reasonably or not and insulated from it. The attorneys conclude on behalf of the governor. The governor has great faith in the ability and integrity of CNMI judges, but sometimes the better part of judgment is knowing when to step away. This case, more than almost any other, cries out for appointment of a judge from outside the CNMI who has no ties or allegiances, real or perceived, to CNMI politicians. In the highly charged political atmosphere surrounding this case, it is essential that there be no public perception whatsoever that the judge may be partial politically to one side or another. The losing side may well want to cry foul, yet it is in the best interest of the whole community as well as the health of political debate in the Commonwealth that no hook be provided for either side to hang its hat on. This can only be attained by having a judge from outside the Commonwealth preside in the Superior Court. And so that's the full letter we were able to receive from the clerk of court at the NMI Judiciary. Yesterday, we got a chance to speak with one of the members of the media team, Brianna Hunter, who said she was not able to provide any comment as of yet and wasn't able to share this letter. However, as we reported last night, it was the court who instructed the governor's team to send this letter to the legislature because the communication needed to be made between both parties. And Chris, I know this in particular is about the lawsuit that was filed because of the contempt charge, but also potentially if this will end up in the Senate impeachment trial, and potentially one of the Supreme Court justices would preside over it if those are the rules that they adopt or follow, because there is the House of Representatives and then the Senate and the CNMI. Right. And so based on this letter, it appears that, it's more than clear that the governor believes that none of the justices or judges
so that's what I wanted
have
to
the
ask.
Capacity.
Is this letter, is this an example of the underhanded, unethical side of it? As was it Madam Babalta who said that?
Chair Selena Babalta.
So is it that, or is it the governor's office writing to the court saying, hey, I don't think any of you guys can preside over this?
What we are aware of is that there is an email exchange as well that has that cannot be made public, but it might be disclosed in session. But there was a meeting that was requested, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And this communication is also part of that. So
So explain to us, Tomas, why does Representative Babalta believe this action is unethical to request this meeting?
Well, she says it's unethical because it's one-sided. It's a one-sided meeting that involve in a matter that involves two parties, right. And so it's further indicating that is the response from the court to share this with the legislature immediately, because it's not just a one-sided communication.
Yeah.
And so we'll have more on that tonight on primetime. And Chris, we also just finished the CNMI press conference, which the governor's entire team was absent from.
Oh.
It was quite something to see the host of the local radio show say all of the governor's men have backed out of the press conference, including Will Castro, who was supposed to stand in for the governor this morning. And so it was just the public health officials who were at the press conference this morning. They were a bit caught off guard. They didn't expect the entire hour just to themselves. And so at this morning's press conference, it was a surprise that the governor did not show up, nor did his chief of staff or any member of his press corps that he has or his media team. But the surge in the CNMI still.
Wait, so it was a short press conference then?
Well, actually, we had a lot of questions about this COVID surge.
Who did show up? All the public health people.
COVID-19 Task Force Chair Warren Villagomez and CEO Esther Muña. And there is some news. They are going to be on Monday revising the travel entry protocol for those who are unvaccinated. So if you're vaccinated, it remains the same. You test on arrival and there's no quarantine. If you're unvaccinated, now it changes. You only have to quarantine and test out day 5 instead of...
So they kind of aligned it with the CDC guidance of the isolation stuff?
Yes, they did. Yes. And so that's one of the biggest changes that is happening there. And last night, unfortunately, the CNMI is still in a surge. They reported 65 new cases. This brings the total count since October 28 to 3,227 new cases. Though hospitalizations are decreasing, there's 10 active hospitalizations and 450 active cases, and there's been more than 2,700 people who've recovered from COVID-19. And so lots of...
with the 65 new cases, you said?
65 new cases.
Right.
Yes.
So how does that compare to, like, you know, a snapshot a day last week or something?
Well, I did ask because we've been reporting case counts around the 60s all this week. And so I asked, you know, is this indication of, you know, a downward trend or anything of sorts? And the response is that we're still in a surge and that people should still practice everything they've been told to. And one thing that they're also doing is that they're looking to set up their own testing in the CNMI to identify variants. Because one thing that the CEO of the healthcare corporation did say is that they're looking for Omicron. And unfortunately, Chris, with this first surge in the CNMI and Omicron, it looks like this might be a first really prolonged surge for us.
Yeah. You know, when we were talking with Dr. Hoa the other day, he had made the reminder that we still have Delta.
Right.
Yeah. And so while a lot of the talk is on the less severe Omicron strain, a lot of these doctors believe Delta is still here and still has that possibility of doing damage.
Right, and boosters are becoming more important than ever. And one thing that Esther Muña said is that they're actually looking at redefining, right, what we've been having this conversation, what it means to be fully vaccinated. The CNMI, as of yesterday, has a 96.1% vaccination rate, which is...
How are they doing in the boosters?
I'll have to check in on that. Last we checked, only about 30% of people received their boosters, so that 96% number.
They haven't changed it yet, but you're right. That has been kind of the discussion is, are they going to tweak the definition of fully vaccinated? So, you know, right now, fully vaccinated means you got 2 shots in you.
Yes.
And then they'll change it, so it'll be like fully vaccinated. Would be you get the 2 shots and then the booster or whatever.
Right, because you have waning immunity.
And then they could have like super fully vaccinated. And then go on. Anyway.
Right.
How's Ice Keki production in the NMI?
I haven't checked, though. That would be a good
I'm telling you.
That'd be a good weekend story.
Yeah, because, you know, when everyone's popping positive and people are, you know, they're going to have to isolate, it's affecting Piggy numbers are down, you know? Got to get that Piggy out there, guys.
Yeah, that's, you know, Chris, I'm going to check in on that.
You're missing the big picture.
Am I?
No, you're not. You're doing a great job.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the blueberry bread numbers, too, must be down. Yeah.
Yep, exports are down. Exports are down. Thank you, Tomas.
Thanks, Chris.
Right on. Yeah. We have Miss Maria Pangolina. Are you okay, Miss Maria? Good morning.
Yes, thank you very much.
Are you working at home?
I'm working remotely, thank you.
Is everything okay at the office? Did you guys have an exposure or anything?
Thank you for asking. So we had one positive, so all of us went to get tested on Tuesday. And it was too early, but I decided to go ahead and get tested because we didn't know when our positive employee contacted COVID. So all of us who were in the office, we went to get tested, and we will again get tested on Saturday. I decided to stay home because of my husband's underlying condition. So I've been working remotely since Tuesday afternoon.
And how's Uncle Jim?
He's fine. He's very, very fine. He hasn't been to cardiac therapy initially because he was coughing, but the cough has gone away with Tremoro medicine, mind you. And now the therapy place is closed down because of exposure. So,
wow. Which therapy place, if you don't mind?
GMH.
Oh, wow. So there's a story. You guys get that? GMH therapy closed down because of
No, don't say that. We just got, they're just being as careful as maybe more careful than me. What it is we chose to go there and we love going there. Unfortunately, it was Uncle Jim that initially canceled his appointments. So don't make a story.
Okay, Miss Maria. Sorry about that. Strike it from the record. Miss Maria, what about your staffer who was positive? What's their condition like, if you don't mind?
She's doing well. She's isolating at home, and she's doing well. I check on her every day, and today she's up and running. In fact, she's still working out of the house.
So mild symptoms?
I'm sorry?
Mild symptoms?
Yes. Well, she's young, so yes. Her mom and dad are keeping her hydrated, keeping her fed, and she's doing well.
So, Miss Maria, we asked you on because candidate packets are ready for pickup starting today, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And
So
the staff are there.
Okay.
I'm keeping tabs on. No one has picked up a packet yet, as of right now. And for everybody that picks up a packet, we're going to let you know that we will update our website all the time. For those that pick up a packet already, we will put it on our website. As we get busy, it'll probably be not as quickly as we can do it now. But Chris, I want to stress to our potential candidates that the Guam Election Commission highly encourages our potential candidates to request for their packets electronically directly from our website at gec.guam.gov. You request from our website, we will send you the whole packet electronically. Yes, our office is open. Yes, potential candidates can come in and pick up a packet from there as well.
but also, yes, they were exposed to COVID, so maybe just do it electronically.
Yes. So Saturday, tomorrow, we will all get tested again tomorrow. We were advised, and we work well. We've been working with public health already. We were advised to just, do the social distancing, wash our hands all the time, wear our mask, and that's what we're doing. That's what they're doing down at the office.
The CDC guidance says 5 days isolation, so you're following that, Ms. Maria?
Well, is it, if we have symptoms, that's what they're, I believe if we have symptoms, that's what we should do. If we don't have symptoms, we can go ahead and, until such time, we can go ahead and social distance and all that. I believe that's what's common to both the CDC guidance and the public health guidance.
Right. If you don't have symptoms, get your ass to work and wear a mask. That's what the guidance is.
And wash your hands.
And wash your hands while you're wearing your mask at work.
And so we have chairs outside, right directly outside our office, so that we can accommodate as many as we can, and we continue to, honest to goodness, we continue to follow the sanitizing protocol.
Ms. Maria, so just I know we're in like a freak time now, but going back, looking at previous years when the packets are available for pickup, Does anybody really pick one up on the first day?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes, they do. And that's interesting. You know how many packets that are picked up, how many eventually get filed. We're gonna, we can take a look at that too.
So the packets available, Miss Maria, could you just run down the offices?
Governor and lieutenant governor, congressional delegate, the senators, and the attorney general. Come for the general election. We have packets also available for the Guam Education Board and the Consolidated Commission on Utilities.
Got it. And you could request pickup for that through the website, right? Has there been any other election related news, Miss Maria? Are we missing anything?
We want our potential candidates to know that our candidate seminars are going to start on Wednesday, January 26th, starting at 5:30 p.m. It's on a first come, first served basis. It's going to be conducted at our new offices at the Oka building, second floor. That's 241 Fahrenheit Avenue, next to Mega Drugs. So potential candidates, supporters, anybody interested can come to our candidate seminars.
What is covered in the candidate seminar, Miss Maria?
We will go through the packet, and we will try to address all the questions that come up. So in a lot of cases, a lot of the questions have to do with campaign finance, and so I was also asked, if I'm an incumbent, I've been there a lot. It's worth your while to hear what other people are asking about and to learn, because Chapter 17 of the Election Code of Guam, Title 3, is pretty extensive. So there are some nuances that may happen because there could be ambiguity in the law. Stuff happens, and the Guam Election Commission will be there to answer the questions. If we cannot answer it that night, we will get back to them as soon as we can.
Can you explain the protocol, Miss Maria? Because I went by a few elections back, and I picked up a packet because I wanted to just see what's in the packet so that I could, feel what the candidates feel. But then my name was all over the frickin' media because I've signed for a packet, and then it was like, Chris Barnett's running for senator. That's why he's asking these questions. He can't be trusted. He's running for senator just like us. So I want to get some packets. So I feel like I should just pick up the one for governor, lieutenant governor. Like, if I'm going to let people talk, let's really let them talk.
And, Chris, that's a good question, because if you were truly a potential candidate, is it to your advantage that you pick it up early so people like Chris can start talking about you?
Send me a gubernatorial packet for me and Congressman San Nicolas.
Okay, so what you need to do is get on our website and request for it on our website.
Got it.
We will send.
Make an official request. Got it. And then if you guys are...
So once you requested for a packet, we will get the information that for our log sheet, and that will appear on our website eventually.
Right. And then all the pesky media will look at that log sheet and they'll say and assume that everyone who picked up a packet is seeking some type of public office, even though that's not always the case.
All of Guam Election Commission media partners will look at it and deal with it intelligently.
There you go. Okay, Miss Maria, is there anything else? Registering to vote, because a lot of people are complaining, and I keep saying, if you're going to complain, at least register to vote. I mean, it's a free island. You can complain. I'm never one to say, if you don't vote, you can't complain. Please, I love complaining, but it also helps if you do something about it.
So we are conducting volunteer voter registrar training. If you are not registered, if somehow you got off the roster, you can get on our website and get a name of a volunteer voter registrar. I believe most of our mayoral offices have registrars there, or you can simply get on our website. If you have a current Guam driver's license or a Guam ID, get on our website and register there. At DMV, upon renewal of your driver's license or your Guam ID, even electronically, you can still do motor voter registration. Or you can come to our office at 241 Fahrenheit Avenue, and our staff will be ready to register you. Right. Yes, we just broke 50,000 voters, I believe, as of December.
Wait, are they smart voters though, Miss Maria?
All of our voters are smart, Chris Barnett.
Miss Maria, I had a question here. Are you preparing for advanced voting to ease congestion on Election Day in case there's continued high positivity as a contingency?
Yes. So the legislature, there's a new law that says early voting can happen now, starting 30 days before the election. So at this point, we are looking to see where it would be best. Of course, our absolute last option would be our office, because it's not conducive to early voting. Another thing, Chris, that we want to start stressing already is we will have curbside voting, but we will have curbside voting limited to the persons with disabilities. Curbside voting last election, we want our young voters to come into the office to vote using the express vote machine, so we can hurry up and see if our island is ready for it. Some of the media came up and did coverage on it. The machines will be available for early voting. And so that we can also invite our persons with disabilities to come in for early voting, so they can vote independently on these universal express vote machines. So we've been working since our move, and our move took place in September, October. We've been looking and trying to figure out how to conduct early voting and where we can conduct early voting.
Anything else, Miss Maria?
Get everybody to register and vote, and most importantly, let's hurry up and get together and get everybody to come out and vote and let their voices be heard. Biba za un makwenta.
Biba!
Bota za un makwenta.
Yep, vote and be counted. Thank you, Miss Maria.
Agamas, Chris
Be
Barnett.
safe. And Jason just wanted me to remind everybody that the location of your new office is the former Manpower building.
Yes, and yes, Jason, and I, once in a while, in order to get tickled, I think about that.
Well, don't talk about getting tickled, because you're going to get him worked up.
That's purely like a Guam, relational direction
No,
thing.
it's purely you.
No,
Yeah.
you looked that up on Google Maps. Google Maps is going to be what? Club Men's Power. However, there is this Australian group that and you wind up going to their website. But Tomas, do you even know what we're talking about?
No, leave him out of it, bro.
Yeah.
Sounds like a personal problem. Thank you, Miss Maria.
Thank you, Maria. God
And
bless you.
Be safe. I hope it works out for your office and all the COVID everywhere.
Jesus Masi.
Algamos. There you go, Miss Maria Pangolina. Let's go ahead and switch gears real quick. We'll throw it over to the man, the myth, the legend himself, Jason Solis, because we were talking about super typhoons this morning, because the governor had used the analogy, prep as if a super typhoon's coming, and then lo and behold, you look outside the window, the rain is falling, and so we kind of said, hey, let's go check our buddies over at the National Weather Service. That being said, Jason Solis, take it away.
Yeah, Landon. You were predicting. I mean, everything is kind of falling into place as far as what you were saying earlier in the week when we had you on, 4 days ago and everything like that. But the fact that it's cold, I mean, I thought I was in Santa Ana the other day. It felt like Siberia.
So, yeah, we actually had a phone call yesterday about the typhoon coming, or if there was a typhoon coming, and so we had to say no. Right now, the trade winds are in charge. This is typical of the dry season that we see these little wet spells. These shear lines is the very southern extent of the cold front. But so while we really see the stronger winds, the higher seas and surf with these wind events, one of the other things about it is it actually does cool things off quite a bit. It makes it feel quite nice outside, especially if you're working outside during the day. But when it is rainy at the same time, it can feel extra chilly. So my hands are just freezing right now. Of course, I've been inside all morning.
Yeah, I've been bundling up a lot. Like when I go home, like in the air conditioner, I was like, man, it's cold here. And then you go, go outside and yeah, like you said, I mean, there's this natural, because of that cold front that like has slowly been, making its way southward to us. And then plus it's been very, very breezy, and then it rains on top of that. So it's like, there may be a market on Guam for thermal underwear right now. I mean, you never know.
Absolutely. I wish I had a fireplace. But the meteorologically speaking, the change is very subtle. And so what we look for is the dew points. And so typically across the Marianas, we see dew points around 75, 76 degrees. And what that means is a relationship to the moisture content in the air, so the water vapor. Now, at nighttime, as the air temperature cools down from the 80s, it drops down to 76, 75 degrees. Once it reaches that dew point temperature, that is when we have dew form on the ground. Mm-hmm. So if the dew point temperature drops down to 70, that means that the air temperature has to drop even cooler to get that dew to form. And so we see that trend in the dry season. When these shear lines drop to the south of us, as we saw a couple of days ago, our dew point temperature dropped down into the upper to mid 60s. So basically that really dried us out. It allows the nighttime temperatures to cool. But more importantly is when you're outside walking in the rain, you get wet, that dew point temperature is going to the drier air is going to try to evaporate that moisture off of your body. And so the heat process, it actually pulls heat away from your body as that moisture on your skin evaporates, and that's why you get cold. When I visit schools to talk about weather, the easiest explanation is to say, think of when you're getting out of the shower. As soon as you get out of the shower, that you're in the dry air and you're starting to get cold. You got to dry off really quick. Mm-hmm. That's because the water is trying to evaporate off your skin. And so that's what we're seeing right now. It's just being that much more accentuated with these lower dew points. And so you just have to put on the extra layers when you go outside into this rainy weather that we're seeing.
Now, when it comes to that, when it comes to the science, Brandon, of how, like temperature, like here in the islands are affected and everything like that, I'm sure the fact that the sun comes up later and later in the morning. I mean, like Joser was out this morning at 6:15, mm-hmm. Joser, and he got like a shot of outside this, normally we'd have these beautiful, skylines of Harmon, which is basically like a lot of power poles and like a wonderful like sunrise. But today, it was still dark. I mean, you would think it was like still 3 a.m, and I'm sure that has something to do with the temperature being dipped.
Yeah, so typically when the sun sets, the earth, the ground is re-radiating that heat that are absorbed during the day via long wave radiation. So that's just gradually radiating up from the earth's surface. And so that's going to continue through the entire night. And that's why usually we see the coldest temperatures based on that pattern. Coldest temperature happens a little bit before sunrise. That's why we see the dew in the mornings. But as soon as the sun comes up, we start heating up. Right now, the sunrise is occurring about 6:45 in the morning. It's the latest that the sunrise occurs during the year. Mm-hmm. Right now, we are in that part of the Earth's orbit around the sun. And with the Earth's axis tilt about 23.5 degrees, the sun is at the very southernmost extent over the Earth. As we head toward the summer, though, we're going to see the sun is going to appear like it's rising north into the northern latitudes. And so that sun will become overhead. Sunrises will be earlier and the sunsets are going to be later. Sure. And then we're just going to be dreaming of these cooler dry season days.
And how long is it going to be? How many months? Because some people like tend to think out here, because we've basically got 10 months of sunshine on Guam and then 60 days of rain, spread out, right? We don't really have the 4 traditional seasons like you'd have like in other countries, and we don't, of course, we don't have like daylight savings time like those crazy mainlanders have and everything. But how long should it be until we get back to the point when 6 o'clock hits, Mr. Sun is already up, and the chickens are already crowing? You get the natural Guam alarm clock basically.
Well, around March. So right now,
right around the corner.
Winter solstice, the winter solstice was December 21st. So that's when the sun is at its southernmost extent. And so over the next several months, the sun will be climbing up in latitude. And so the spring equinox is March 21st. That's when the sun is overhead the equator. And then heading in from March, April, May, June is when we're going to start seeing the sun come overhead. Our shadows, instead of leaning out away from us, are going to be directly under us. And that's when we're going to start seeing, it's going to start feeling much hotter. And then the real change occurs as we head into the wet season transition. And most notably, the trade winds die down. And so right now, it's the trade winds that help make the tropical heat bearable. It's drier, it's stronger winds. But as we head into the summer months, that's when the winds die down, humidity increases, and then we're just all suffering.
Yeah, and then and then of course, like you're a weatherman, not necessarily like a medical expert and everything like that, but with this sudden uptake in cases and everything like that, colder temperatures, it's raining, it's windy and everything like that, do what you got to do to, stay warm. Don't unnecessarily, maybe don't work out in the yard if you're going to get wet and then go inside in the aircon, because the last thing you want to do is catch like a little ticky-tack cold like these days with like so many people popping positive.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's one of the things when I'm giving my son a bath, the first thing I make sure he is completely dried off before we head into the air-conditioned room or whatever, because you just don't want
in the background. We got one of your colleagues video bombing us right now. Hello, half a day. Bring her on the show. Yeah, bring her in, man. It's a family show. We get everybody here.
This is Issa, one of our newer forecasters.
Hi, Issa. Hey, may we have an introduction to Issa? Are you on your phone or your laptop?
I am on the phone right now. Let me turn around real quick and.
I don't believe it's a matter of national security if we meet Issa, right?
No. So here we go, Issa. Come on by. So
hi, Issa. Half a day. Oh, hello, Issa. Hello, half a day from KUAM. Good morning.
So this is Jason says hello. Good morning from KUAM.
Good morning.
He is waving very vibrantly, and this is Issa. She is one of our newer forecasters, and she's doing some great things here in the office. And but she's here to do some work and work on the computer systems.
Hey, well, you got a really, really good team over there, and good to see that headcount is expanding and everything like that. You can never have too many meteorologists.
Yeah, we've had some retirements in the past year, and so. We've got a massive influx of new forecasters, so it's we've seen a lot of change here at the weather office, and so we've been very, very fortunate to have a lot of new folks join us straight out of college, and so it's been a fun process getting everybody trained in. Most people in stateside colleges with meteorology, similar to me, the weather focus is on severe weather and stateside type of weather patterns with snow and the blizzards and all that stuff. So out here, there's an intensive training course to really get accustomed to the tropical weather patterns and to get used to things coming from the east, moving to the west.
One thing I've never asked you about yourself, do you have somewhat of a green thumb? Like, are you fairly savvy when it comes to gardening?
It depends. It depends on if it needs attention or not. The stuff that doesn't need attention, I do pretty well with.
Because I was going to ask, since you brought up the whole science behind like the dew points and the fact that the sun comes up like later on today, is this an opportune time at all, either one yay or nay and everything, for people that might want to be planting crops or planting seeds, whether they're doing flowers, maybe you're trying to have does the fact that the sun comes up later, does that bode well or against?
I'm going to have to plead ignorance on that account.
No problem.
I can. Let me bring my wife in it, and my mother-in-law. She grows a lot of fruits and vegetables, and she sells at the farmers market every weekend.
Very cool.
So she knows everything about the growing seasons.
Well, Chris knows a thing or two about about having a green thumb. I mean, does the fact,
here we
Chris,
go.
because
Here we go. Here comes the setup.
No, Brandon was talking about, like the fact, there's the dew points out here. The dew on the grass lasts a little bit longer, and the sun comes up later. So would you actually find this to be a better time to plant seeds, to plant crops, or should you wait until March when he said when we
all
get
year? It's Guam, plant all the time, early and often.
That's the extent of my green thumb right there.
Hopefully that's not permanent marker.
I hope not.
Oh boy. Hey, we appreciate it, man.
Yeah, Brandon, thank you.
It's not just analyzing charts and like making forecasts and everything like that. What you and your brother and your whole team over there at the NWS have been really good at showing us is that there really is a science to this, and it takes a lot of years of training and everything like that. But really, anybody, if they pay attention to it and just have a few, have some discipline and everything like that, can really get a lot out of this. And it's a fascinating industry to track.
It's a really fascinating career field out here. A lot of people say, "Oh, so what's the job? Partly cloudy, isolated showers." Well, there's a lot more to it, and we're just speaking to the nature of the showers: light, heavy, flood producing, and just talking about the weather, like that we're seeing for the next couple of days. We've seen a kind of a transition in the nature of these showers, originally being kind of light and just quick passing. The whole pattern has changed just south of the Marianas. So we've seen a lot of moisture getting higher into the atmosphere. And now you see all these little red pluses. That's where lightning is being detected. We had a couple of thunderstorms overnight south of Guam. And so the pattern has changed. The moisture is getting higher into the atmosphere. You're getting that freezing layer of ice crystals. And so it's going to be a little bit different for the next day. But this pattern will be kind of shifting off to the east, to the west of us. But ultimately, we're still going to be kind of windy for the next couple of days. But around Monday, Tuesday, those winds will subside.
Because I was going to say, I'm actually calling a football game on Sunday afternoon, or Sunday evening, I should say. It's the high school football Rising Stars game. So if it is going to be like a little bit windy, we might see more of a rushing attack rather than, teams just trying to go pass happy and go all Peyton Manning and air it out every single time, which is totally cool.
Yeah.
Running backs need love too.
I pity the kicker that has a kick-up win in this stuff.
Oh my gosh, yeah, Ray Guy does not exist anymore. That's old school right there.
That's right.
All right, guys.
Okay, real quick, since you're talking, we always bring up the fact that you and your brother are proud alma maters of North Carolina State University. Who is the greatest football player from NC State? We know about the basketball team. We know about Coach Jim Valvano in the championship.
Boy.
How about football? Who's the
I would have to say, well, we got a couple. We've had some really notable quarterbacks come out of NC State. We
Russell
had
Wilson.
Phillip Rivers, who played with the San Diego Chargers.
Phillip Rivers.
And so I enjoyed watching him play. I was in a marching band, so I got to see him every football game.
Nice.
And but we also had the name is on the tip of my tongue, but he went from NC State. He played at Wisconsin for a couple of years. Russell Wilson. Yep. That's it. And so he's done some pretty remarkable things. And but we've got a pretty good quarterback who's Devin Leary, I think, the current quarterback. He's been doing some impressive stuff this past season or two.
Yeah, and Landon's back home, and he's putting in the comments. He's saying definitely Phillip Rivers.
That's the only name he knows. No, we back in the Phillip Rivers days, we had a couple of good receivers, and I think Jericho Cotchery was one of the names, and
he played for the Jets for a long time.
Yeah, the Rivers to Cotchery, they had a great connection, and but that's about the extent of my name recognition.
Yeah, your brother's also saying Dennis Bird.
Well, yeah, Dennis Bird. That was the first name that I was going to mention. Dennis Bird actually had his jersey retired when we were out there. He was actually our earth and environmental science teacher in high school.
Really?
So I'm glad Landon mentioned the name. But Dennis Bird, he was a great guy. We went to school in elementary school with his son, and but he was a good guy, and he let us get extra credit for doing weather-related stuff in class.
Nice.
Very cool.
All right, Brandon, thank you so much.
All right, thank you much, man.
Appreciate
science and sports on the show.
Yeah, appreciate you coming on at such short notice.
Go Pack.
Absolutely. Go Pack. Have a good weekend.
You too. There you go. Brandon and I led of the National Weather Service. Quick break, and we're coming back with Feed Me Fridays because it is Friday on the link.
Mariana's Irrigation and Landscape Superstore. Stop on by and visit our showroom today. We offer everyday low prices on all major outdoor power equipment like bush cutters, chainsaw, power washer, generators, and more. Need service, repair, maintenance? Well, check out Guam's best superstore only at Mariana's Irrigation and Landscape, located in Barragata along Army Drive between Submarina and Besta Market. Call 735-7446 for more information. Now shipping to surrounding islands. Mariana's Irrigation and Landscape Superstore.
Do you feel like you're missing out on something? Make life more rewarding with Pacific Points. Earn and redeem points for bill rebates and free load at IT&E, discounts on fuel at Shell, vouchers at Foodies, and United Mileage Plus miles. You can even pay with Pacific Points at IT&E, Shell, and Foodies. Pacific Points. Do more, get more.
Say hello to the First Hawaiian Bank mobile app. Want a better look at your spending? With Money Map, you can automatically create budgets and manage where your money is going. Know when you have a green light, or when it's time to slow down. Maybe cook more meals at home this week. Set your goals, track your progress, and find your way to exactly where you want to be. With Money Map from the First Hawaiian Bank mobile app. It all starts with yes.
GU Self-Storage, conveniently located near the Harmon McDonald's. We offer affordable rates, online payments, and auto bill pay for your convenience. Plus gate access daily from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. Call us today at 648-7867 for more information.
Get the job done the right way by getting the right stuff at East West Rental Center. With years of experience helping builders, we definitely got what you need. Call 646-1463 or visit us in Upper Tumon. Open Monday to Saturday from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. and on Sundays from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Listen, watch, and learn from the daily Tomorrow News updates from KUAM News. Catch them on the link during the 8 o'clock hour, streaming online on Isla Radio, or on the KUAM News YouTube channel for your convenience. Tune in and stay informed, all while preserving our precious culture through the daily use of our native Chamorro language. Tomorrow News updates are brought to you by your familia at First Hawaiian Bank.
KUAM's multi-platform morning show, The Link, just got a little more delicious with Feed Me Fridays. Chris, Sabrina, Jason, and the rest of the morning crew will take some time off each Friday to talk, taste, and tempt you with all the latest and greatest food and drinks on Guam. Old faves, new hits, and everything else we can put in our bellies. It's Feed Me Fridays on The Link. Brought to you by King's Restaurants, Ruby Tuesday Guam, and Devondale. Real milk from free grazing cows.
I whisper, take a breath and say, oh man, if only. But no, not even one look, not even a glance. I'll go home to feel like, man, I'll never get a chance. One day I promise my motivations will change. When I've got nothing left to lose and everything to gain, I'll drop sweet lines, ask if you like the way my band plays. I ask you what you're signing, what you usually do on Saturdays, and if you've had any dreams that have ever come true. And if you can see in me all the things I see in you, even if we don't have a future, could we still have a past? Do things, go to places, make memories to last. I swear I don't want a lifetime, wanna meet me in the nighttime for 3 or 2 or 1 night. Just show me it's the right time.
Show me it's the right time. Show me it's the right time. Show me it's the right time.
Just show me it's the right time.
Show me it's the right time. Show me it's the right time. Show me it's the right time.
Yeah, just show me it's the right time. I'm Friday's child, I'm loving and giving. Born under Mars, so I work hard for a living. Every dream I've ever had, I made it come true. Had one about you last night,
Friday. Wet. Good morning, 9:34. Pacific Points, Cabo Enterprises, ITD, and Jack in the Box. Let's do a sneak peek of the One Micronesia podcast. It's brought to you by Taco Bell. It's part of the awesome KUAM Podcast Network, where you can find all of our cool content anywhere you find awesome podcasts, on Apple, Spotify, all that other stuff. Oh, nice. Yeah, we're matching. Silent shirt, Island Fridays, right? Yeah, so check that out, guys. Facebook Live, good morning. Let's go ahead and do this One Micronesia podcast sneak peek right here on the link. It's Victorious Falon and his stellar podcast where he's always getting people who are doing great things in the community, and he's with Manetlu in this episode of One Micronesia, brought to you by Taco Bell. Dong.
Hafre, Mugdin, and we're back. The last part of it. Wow, Sam, what a talk. 2021, you guys feel like, we got you. Closed out with a bang, and then opened up 2022 with a whole new, a jam-packed schedule, pretty much, of things to tackle and events to do and programs and workshops and all these amazing things that you guys do. You guys are definitely off to a great start here in 2022. Sam, before we close out, last messages before we close out here.
Okay, so last messages is, if you are looking to become a mentor or even just like interested in working with youth, we have so many different opportunities. If there's a specific activity you want to do, you can always contact us, and we are more than willing to figure out how we can make those things happen. And then also the Micronesian Resource Center and a bunch of our other projects have moved to Tamooning, so you can come down and visit us. We are behind American Printing in Tamooning now, and really just check out our social media. We always have so many things going on, and that's going to be the place where we announce any new activities. Like I mentioned earlier, the My Van is out in the community doing outreach every single Wednesday. And so we always put notices out about where we're going to be. If you need assistance with anything from documentation to applying for a public benefit, maybe you just need help with a job or just understanding anything. The team is more than willing to help anybody throughout the island with anything. And if we don't know, we find those answers. So you can always come to us. We have a team that is passionate about helping the community with whatever they need. So come and visit us, check out our social media so you can find out what's going on. And yeah.
All right. And then if somebody wants to, so location, Tamooning behind American Printing, how about a phone number? Or if people want to reach you guys, what's the contact number?
So if you want to reach us and it's like specifically about our youth program, you would call 671-472-2227. If you're trying to get a hold of the Micronesian Resource Center, you can call 671-789-1265. You can Google Manetlu Micronesian Resource Center. You can throw it in Instagram or Facebook and you'll find us.
All right. Well, there you have it. Samantha Titano, ladies and gentlemen, Executive Director of Manetlu Micronesian Resource Center. Thank you so much, Sam, for the talk. And thank you and the team for the amazing job that you guys have been doing.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right. Well, that pretty much concludes the first episode of 2022. We'll definitely catch you guys on the next one. My name is Victorious, and I got to say peace.
The One Micronesia podcast is brought to you by Docomo Pacific. Better together.
Well, I didn't get screened because I was just afraid of it.
I procrastinated.
I didn't have any symptoms.
I didn't have insurance.
I didn't want to know.
There were several services that was available to me.
I got a mammogram.
Colonoscopy.
I know in my heart that early detection saved my life.
And I just tell people all the time, please go get screened.
Attention basketball fans, the wait is over. Clutch Guam presents the second annual McDonald's High School Basketball Classic, going down December 20th to January 8th at the Father Duenas Jungle. Make sure you come through to watch some high school boys and girls varsity division action. You do not want to miss out. Special thanks going out to KUAM Sports. We'll see you there.
Uno Mixed. We're mixing it up on the last Thursday of every month with a look at lifestyle, entertainment, food, and so much more on the stations, networks, and digital platforms of KUAM Communications.
Uno Mixed is presented to you by Docomo Pacific, Better Together, and Pepsi. That's what I like.
Let us know what's up on our KOM News WhatsApp tip line at 671-727-0094. Share information about what's happening in your town, on Guam or the CNMI, and what you want us to know. Reach us on WhatsApp at 671-727-0094.
We know you're tired of hearing about COVID-19. Some of you are probably wondering whether this is ever going to end. However long it takes, we all have to do our part, including our children, to hold the line. You can protect yourself and your family by getting vaccinated.
And if you're already vaccinated, don't let your guard down because you can still give and get COVID-19. And if you're not vaccinated, remember that if you catch the virus, you could suffer more severe complications. At the end of the day, it's the choices we make to protect ourselves, our families, and our community that will control the spread.
We know it sounds repetitive at this point, but again, wash your hands, watch your distance, and wear your mask.
Together, we have to hold the line. Unbreakable bloodline. Dude. Yeah, there's a Chimaro guy in here. That's why I'm playing it. I just play random stuff. Good morning. It's Friday. Viva Betness, January 7th. Okay, so they're not doing anything. We're on our own in this surge. Oh my God. Oh my God. What was that? That was a storm right there. That was a thunderstrike. It was a sneeze. We were sneezing before COVID too, remember? 9:41. So anyway, we had Dr. Lombard on. He's basically saying, kind of chill it out, guys. And I'm seeing that people are kind of dialing back because with this Omicron, it's so infectious. I mean, everybody's going to have it by Monday if you go all crazy this weekend. So he was saying just kind of like, maybe don't go to that super big gathering you're planning on going to. Maybe kind of self-regulate a little bit. Okay. It's 9:41. Let's go to New Feed Me Fridays. So we're going to Ruby Tuesday with Lacey and I right here on the link. Good morning.
It's Feed Me Fridays on the link. Brought to you by King's Restaurants, Ruby Tuesday, Guam, and Devondale.
Feed Me Fridays, Ruby Tuesday, New Year, fresh start, and we're getting the freshest here, Lacey, with their fresh garden bar. We're going to do healthy for lunch. We're going to get a fresh garden bar, but we're going to upgrade it with some minis and some soup here at Ruby Tuesday. Our girl Nikki is actually going to assist us. You know, this is the new normal, Lacey. I remember back in the day, pre-COVID, we would actually get this stuff ourselves. And now I feel like it's bougie because we are being served by one of the best servers in Ruby Tuesday, Nikki. And it just makes me feel special that she's going to set it up for us.
All right, let's do it.
So what do you like about Ruby Tuesday and the fresh garden bar, Lacey?
Okay, this has always been my go-to since Ruby Tuesday came to Guam. I don't even remember how long ago, because they have spinach, kind of premium vegetables here. So I'm going to go with spinach. I'm not a lettuce girl, so just kind of ignore this part. Can I have some spinach on my plate first? Sure. Some more? Yes, some more, please.
And I think I'll take spinach too, but I want to get some of that fancy lettuce. No, I make separate, yeah. Can you do two at the same time, or?
No, one by one.
Okay, one by one. Let's go.
Okay, we'll just do mine real quickly, and I'll tell you guys what I love in my salad. I'll take a couple of tomatoes, a little bit of edamame because that's a lot of protein.
Right.
Edamame.
These tomatoes, they got that pop when you pop one of those tomatoes in your mouth. Oh my gosh.
And I'll get some cucumbers.
On top or side?
Just on the side's fine. I'm gonna skip the onions today just because I still have to work.
Right.
And what I like in my, we're gonna skip over, maybe Chris might get some of these other salads, but I like fruit in my salad. So can I get some of the mandarin and the grapes?
Wow, you like fruit in your salad.
I do.
And you know one thing about the Fresh Garden Bar is, of course, it's salad, but then they've also got salads within the salad bar. So that's cool. They got potato salad, there's a broccoli salad, they got a pasta salad, a couple different ones.
I'll take some pineapple, and then you have like a vinaigrette here, right? The balsamic. Usually I just use, when it was open, I would just make my own.
Just throw it on side.
Yeah.
Lacey, are you team croutons or no?
Oh, I'm so sorry. I am absolutely Ruby Tuesdays team croutons. So can I
Yeah.
have some croutons?
Fancy croutons. What kind of croutons is that there? That's like the dark one.
Yeah,
Pumpernickel?
kind of like a pumpernickel, but
Right.
even if it's not.
Pumpernickel.
Right. Pumpernickel. Or I'll just take the dressing on the side. How about that? So just the vinaigrette.
Small one or typical?
The big one's fine.
Ruby Tuesday, they got some dressings here. I really like their ranch dressing. It's guilty pleasure, but I love it. So that's Lacey's fruit salad.
I love that combination.
I'm not used to seeing fruit salad without a Cool Whip.
All right, I'll take mine.
Okay, here we go. Okay, Nikki, I like spinach and I like some of that fancy lettuce you got there. I'll get some carrots.
On top or side?
On top. Carrots are good for your eyes. I'll take 3 tomatoes. I like hard-boiled egg on my salad.
On top.
On top. Some olives. And I believe all salads should have bacon. Right? That's it. Ooh. Yeah.
Is this kind of like an unlimited salad bar still, like before?
Is it? Can you go back for seconds?
Yeah. Okay, so that's just my round one. I don't want to make you think that I don't need the rest of this.
Oh no, I love all this stuff. Okay, so let's go. Let's try some of those. What's that there? Is that cranberries?
Yeah.
That's good for UTI. I'll take some.
On top, right?
On top.
On top.
And I want some of the croutons. The croutons.
Sure.
Oh yeah, Nikki. Wow. Dressing. Oh, this is tough. What is that one?
Caesar.
Caesar. Ooh, can I get the Caesar on the side?
Sure. Big one or
Big one. Big Caesar. Right. Yep. Take all those healthy vegetables and put a whole bunch of salad dressing on it. Love it.
It's on the side.
It is, you're right. It's on the side. Yeah. Nikki? Yeah, I'll take some chopsticks. Thank you. There you go. So sweet, so safe. The Fresh Garden Bar. We got our garden bar salads, and we're going to go ahead and level up with some minis and some soup here at Ruby Tuesday. New Year, fresh start, Lacey. I'm so excited for this garden bar combo. You know, it kind of reminds me of like the old soup and sandwich. This is like that, but way leveled up.
I'm really glad that everything that we had on the bar was fresh. We're going to start with our salad because, I mean, that's the order we're supposed to go, right?
Yeah. Generous amount of bacon.
No, I went and I got the others, a couple of the other salads as well because I needed backup.
Yeah. What other kind of salads they got there, Lace?
Well, here I have a broccoli and cheese bacon one. I'm eating broccoli, right? It's healthy. As well as like a pasta salad with some ham and peas. I'm going to go with that first.
Their croutons. I mean, sometimes I come here and I just want to get a bowl of croutons.
which you can totally do.
I mean, as long as you eat it right.
Yeah.
I think we're good for it too.
Yours is pretty nice looking. Mine is like I messed it up, but it's all going in the same place. And what I love about mine, Lace, is I got the crunch of the carrot, I got the spinach and the bougie lettuce, then I got that cranberry, which is a little bit of tang, a little sweet, and then I got the smoky savoriness of the bacon.
Just as you were talking, I bit into the crouton and I kind of had a moment.
Those croutons.
Right? It just kind of ties everything together.
And they have special croutons. You know that saying, the darker the crouton.
No, I don't actually. All right.
I'm loving this year. What a fresh start.
Did you see I put some ham and eggs also on this plate because why not? You have it all over your plate though.
And it's a look, yeah. I'm making a mess here.
I don't think I ever get so excited for
Yeah.
for a salad except when I'm here at Ruby Tuesday.
And the garden bar combo, Lacey, you can level up and you can get soup with your garden bar. They got a bunch of great soups. Or you could get the minis. And they hooked it up here at Ruby Tuesday. We got it all. And so the soup I have, Lacey, is corn chowder. I'm a corny guy. You are what you eat.
And I got the pumpkin, house made.
Oh, man. Oh. 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 This is fire roasted corn, Lacey. I'm getting that char, smokiness.
I'm sorry, but I don't think it's as good as this one.
What do you got there?
It's pumpkin and it's creamy and smooth and oh man.
That's the pumpkin bisque, I think. I had that for Thanksgiving. Mango tea.
I can tell you, but I also opted for the mango tea.
Right.
And I'm on my second helping, but don't
They got
tell.
they got like blackberry tea. They got mango lemonade. They got all kinds of cool drinks here at the bar. Of course, they also have the adult beverages.
Some of us got to go back to work today,
Yeah.
so I'm gonna pass. I almost don't know where to go.
I got some Donachis here. They have their house-made paste. They've got a Donachi mayo, and then they've got the creamy Donachi, which is their Donachi with cream.
All right, why don't we head into our entree here?
Yeah.
Not that your salad can't be your entree. This is absolutely
There's a lot
an
going on,
entree.
guys, and this is how I love to eat. I love like a lot of different things you can just, chow.
So I got the crab cake minis, and Chris and I think we've agreed because he saw mine and thought, I need one.
I want one of those.
We're gonna
so,
swap
yeah.
one each. So, here, you pull yours and I'll pull mine. Watch how they're tender.
Yeah. And so I got the beef sliders because I was craving some meat today. And they got all the Angus, you know what I mean? It's only made of the handsome cow. I'm gonna go ahead and slam some Donachi in here because it's the kind of guy I am. All right, and when you eat your Ruby Tuesday mini, the rule is you keep your pinkies up. Okay, pinkies up.
I'm gonna put a little bit of a ketchup in mine just because that's how I eat my burger. I did not eat breakfast, by the way, so excuse me if I continue.
I haven't eaten in 3 days. Lacey, having a bite of this salad and then having a bite of this burger.
Actually, that's a really good mini burger. I
Yeah.
feel guilty for taking one of yours.
No, that's good. And the sliders, it's actually their most popular choice when people get the garden bar and they level up with the garden bar combo.
Here, Chris,
They
I
usually
think
get
though.
Sorry.
We got a little excited here with the bread.
Yeah, I know.
No, this is great. Cheese and meat. It's very
Simple. There's a pickle in there. New year, fresh start. Ruby Tuesday is actually popular crab cakes here.
Mm-hmm. Oh, what a treat,
There's a
man.
big crab too. They got the big crab for this one. That crab must have, it's like it's a big one. Mm.
I think the trick also would be go with a friend. That
Yeah.
way you can swap burgers.
Yep.
I don't know which one I like more.
And they will let you, you could do a split like it because it's too many. Let's say you want to get one beef, one salmon. You can do that. They'll help you out here Ruby Tuesday. Okay, I'm digging this crab cake, man. It's good.
It feels fancy. There's not really a lot of filler in it at all. I mean, it's barely holding itself together because it's crab. And I typically order it as like an appetizer, I think, when I'm here.
Yeah. Usually you get it as an appetizer. Getting in the slider though.
Oh, man.
Cheers.
All right, thanks so much for having me, man.
Of course, Lacey, come on. Lacey Martinez, Ruby Tuesday. New year, fresh start. Happy New Year, Lacey.
Happy New Year, Chris.
Right on. Cheers. Thank you,
Cheers.
Ruby Tuesday. This has been another Feed Me Fridays. Woohoo!
It's Feed Me Fridays on The Link, brought to you by King's Restaurants, Ruby Tuesday, Guam, and Devondale.
All right, moving right along. Let's knock out Cover Me, which is brought to you by Burger King. Remember, get ready, guys. Set your calendar. Monday, they reward you for driving through on Mondays. Every 10th car gets a free Whopper at Burger King on drive-through Mondays. It's Cover Me, also brought to you by Docomo Pacific, right here on The Link. Good morning.
I need someone that's gonna love me naked. You see, the things we take for granted and just never take it. We live in a world where people gotta be so fake to make it. We also occupy a place where love is overrated. Whenever life be moving fast, we gotta get back to basics. Looking back at memories instead of the pictures taken. And if the times were getting hard, would you come show me patience? Or would you show me different colors and get tired of waiting? I need a queen that's never gonna sugarcoat the loyalty. Gotta keep it plain and simple, you don't gotta spoil me. I've been waiting on the sidelines for you to call on me. In the war that could be selfish, I could give you all of me. I guess being someone perfect isn't something that I'm not. You don't really gotta stay if it's for something that I got. All my insecurities were hidden somewhere in a box. I've been rolling in the deep, I hit the bottom of the rocks, but I'm back now. See my point of view up in the tracks now. No exaggeration when I'm speaking with the facts now. Know you got my six, so let me come and be the background. I was done with love and then you came. Yeah, but I need somebody, I need somebody, I need someone to show me love more than your body. We only here to get the dub, not here to party. This unconditional love ain't for everybody. Yeah, but I need somebody, I need somebody, I need someone to show me love more than your body. We only here to get the dub, not here to party. This unconditional love ain't for everybody. Yeah. We can talk about the past and all the things that could have been. Spend a day up in your shoes so I can walk a mile in. I've been knocking on your walls, and if you're down, just let me in. Cause you've been pulling on my strings like you play the violin. We can sit down and talk about the pain that we don't speak of. Treat you like the pages of a book I gotta read up. Got a couple of heads turning every time we meet up. Like, damn, I wish I had that kind of love. That could be us. Rumors you may hear, I never said that I was perfect. Maybe I was down and out, or maybe I was hurting. I've been working on myself, trying to make a better version. If I come with open arms, would you come and be the person? Now I said a couple things, but I'm not in a rush. Just be the Bonnie to my class so we can run it up. And if I ever miss the day, I gotta make it up. Cause at the end of every day, I'm about to make it us. Yeah, but I need somebody, I need somebody, I need someone to show me love more than your body. We only here to get the dub, not here to party. This unconditional love ain't for everybody. Yeah, but I need somebody, I need somebody, I need someone to show me love more than your body. We only here to get the dub, not here here to party. This unconditional love ain't for everybody. Yeah.